and gentlemen, welcome to the fucking show. Tonight, we're gonna take your money. We're gonna take your house, and we're gonna take it all. But don't worry, it's insured. Not worth dying for. All right?
What is that from?
Pretty much every heist movie I watched.
Nice.
Live from the Union Fitness Studios located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's thoughts from the movies.
You putting a Boston accent in there?
Yeah. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out like I'll transform you if you don't give me that fucking money.
Yeah.
With a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, so you can get in and out of safes, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe it is their duty to uphold themselves and their clients to a higher standard.
Don't be a fucking hero,
Don't be a fucking hero at Union, okay?
but get fit.
They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make them great bank robbers. I mean, a community. Go to unionfitness.com today. Sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
Bitch.
If you don't fucking do it, I'm gonna show up at your house.
Facts.
I got
Alright.
you.
I gotta take this shit off. It's too hot. And it's hard to drink whiskey.
Are we doing this now?
Yeah.
I'm kind of cool. I'm going to leave it on for a little while.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm digging it.
I mean, we're not great.
Embarrassed to be part of the show.
We're not great heisters if we take our masks off as soon as we start.
Well, it's interesting because there are certain heist movies where they were taking their mics off a lot. But before we go any further, I do want to do this. So this mask was made by the great Tim Currents, who is a co-founder of Fourth Seal Studios. They make awesome prosthetic eyes for different collectors and different kind of awesome prosthetic-y things. So check out Fourth Seal, as in like you're sealing something shut. Fourth Seal Studios and Tim Currents' work. So little plug for our friend Justin.
Definitely. Love you, Tim.
All right. Today's discussion. We didn't fucking change that topic. Oh, well. Is based around heist movies, okay? So if you've been following me on Twitter at all this week or the Thoughts from the Bench stuff, we've been talking a lot about heist movies. This kind of... Just looking at Zach. He went from being scary to being sad when he put the glasses on.
I look like Bubbles as the green bastard.
Gotta be able to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
I mean, I don't have superpowers, remember?
So yeah, this kind of all spawned off of I had like a free night and I was like, I want to watch fucking Ocean's 11. Great movie.
Great movie.
And it made me think, I'm like, well, what's the best heist movie of all time? And I texted Justin, he's like, that's a great topic. So that's what we're diving into today. Is not just what's the best heist movie ever, but also, kind of going through this list we've got. So what's more important, the job or the cast? We're going to change this topic into something else at some point. Who knows? The importance of a soundtrack, because so many of these movies have iconic soundtracks. Our favorite robbery scenes from these movies. The best anti-heroes, because they all seem to be based on an anti-hero one way or another. Build your heist crew. We're going to cast our own heist movies, and then we're going to do overrated, underrated, through about, I think, like 15-ish movies titles. So, welcome, Zach, Justin. Thanks for joining me, as always. Heist movies. What do you think?
I tell you what, man, I love a good heist movie, and I was interested to look through some of the ones that had come out recently because for a while there, I felt like heist movies were kind of a forgotten genre.
For sure.
Like, you're getting lost in all of the superhero movies and the indie films, which are kind of how the film industry has sort of diverged in the last couple of years, and those really fun middle ground heist movies, it felt like that was the kind of movie that just would have fallen off the wayside, but looking back, there's actually been a lot over the past few years. It seems like there's a couple that come out every year, and some really good ones too, which I was surprised that there were some ones that I'd completely forgotten about. So
Baby Driver, Logan Lucky. I watched
Sure.
both of those this week.
yeah, and heist movies are just so fun, and I love that they
Yes.
just embody this fun aspect of film that is kind of, I don't want to say getting lost today, but it's just like because everything is just now shuttled into like graphic novels and comic book movies and superhero stuff and all that stuff. I feel like it's just going into this one category, and a lot of those just like fun other types of movies are not as prevalent as they used to be. So I love a good heist movie. Always character driven. Always have usually great set pieces and fun action scenes and things like that. So I'm excited to talk about these today for sure.
Zach, thoughts on heist movies?
Yeah, I mean, kind of to just echo what Justin said. I think and I know it's not a heist movie per se, but I think that was what got me excited about like The Irishman, is
Sure.
that it was kind of in the same vein as heist movies. Like we haven't had like a good mob movie
Yeah.
in a while, and it's just one of those things. I know we talked about this with The Town, and we'll talk about The Town later, but it's just like fun because it's something that like you don't experience in your everyday life, so it's enjoyable to be able to watch.
Yeah, it's we go to movies to forget, to suspend reality, and a heist movie pretty much suspends reality about just about as much as you can ask before you start to cross into a sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
I did, and we kind of didn't use this topic, but I do think it's important to define what we believe is a heist movie. Because, like, think of a movie like Argo. Is Argo a heist movie?
No, I don't think so.
But technically, like, they're pulling off a boot, right? Or a boost to try to get those people out of a country.
They're not stealing anything.
They're stealing the people,
That's, I mean, kind of.
depending on which way you look at it.
Kind of.
Are they rescuing them or are they stealing
Well, they're
them?
escaping. Is more the thing
True.
That is more escaping. I think that when you have to have the movie has to be based around stealing an item, whether it's
Okay.
a safe or whether it's a computer drive or whether it's a
Right.
car, whatever it is. It has to be built around illegally obtaining this item.
Okay.
So that's why I would say Argo is not, because they're escaping, not necessarily stealing. But I see your point technically on that one.
And do you guys think it's important? Important? Is it
Important?
important?
Hey, is it important, eh?
For a heist movie, do you have to see the job?
Well, here's my question going back to what makes a heist movie, because when we
Yeah.
were throwing ideas around, I had thought of like Good Time with Rob Pattinson, the Safdie brothers movie, and I was like, it's not. It starts with a robbery, but is it necessarily a heist movie? Which led me to No Country for Old Men,
Yep.
where he just kind of stumbles upon. It's not really a heist movie,
Right.
but
The Fugitives like that.
Sure. Hell or High Water. is
Hell
like
or
that.
High Water.
Those are crime movies. I wouldn't call
Okay,
them
so
crime.
those are
I think
crime
heist
movies.
implies a specific act.
Okay. So, but do you have to see the heist? Because like Reservoir Dogs, I was surprised to see on a lot of people's top 10 heist lists when you don't ever see the crime. You never see the heist. It's all post-heist,
Yeah.
where they're trying to figure out who the cop is.
I think so.
Okay.
I think in order to be a heist movie, you have to have that element to it, that event in it. Otherwise,
Sure.
it's just a crime or a gangster movie.
Okay. So how about the chase scene? Do you have to have a chase scene for a heist movie?
I don't know that you need to have one, but why the fuck not?
Right.
It makes it so much cooler.
I think that was probably my favorite part of doing my heist research that I've been doing the past week, is watching some of these car chase scenes and just remembering how good a real car chase scene can be. Like, there's so many now that are, CG and things are happening that could never fucking happen. But if you just had, like, a really realistic car chase scene, and I think of The Town immediately, right, when they're the nuns, probably one of the best car chase scenes ever. Like, a good car chase scene, to me, has to be in a heist movie. And again, Reservoir Dogs doesn't have that. Logan Lucky doesn't have that. There's a couple of these movies we're going to talk about that do not have good chase scenes or car chase scenes. I think it's a staple of a heist movie. You don't need it, but I think it's really important.
Well, yeah, the nature of a heist movie is in trying to obtain this object. There's going to be someone pursuing your crew, or you, or the criminal, the criminals that are going after it, right? So there's going to be that pursuit, and generally that would happen in the literal sense in like some kind of vehicle, whether it's
Sure.
a plane or a boat or a car or whatever, and even if they're just even if they pull off the job and get away with it, they're still being chased in a sense by, the government agent or the whoever. So, like, I think naturally, just by the event being the focus of the movie, it lends itself to an actual chase scene of some kind. And I don't know. Yeah, like, when you don't have that, it's just not the same.
Because, like, Ocean's 11 does not have a chase scene.
But it's so steezy. Like, it doesn't need one. Like
What? Define the word steezy.
style and ease.
Okay.
Like, everyone in that movie is just, like, cool as fuck.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That is
Like,
true.
And that's also a different case because that movie is sort of, the whole movie is about this one location, right? The casino. They're trying to get in and then get the money and get out. And the movie ends with them succeeding, right? So there's not exactly a time for a chase per se, but there are definitely people pursuing them in the casino and things like, right? So even if there's not necessarily a car chase, you don't have to have one.
Sure.
But it by the nature of the type of movie.
And there are good car moments in Ocean's 11, but
Yeah.
it's not, a car chase,
Sure.
like as we would think.
Can I
go
can I
ahead.
produce a hot take real quick?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Are the Indiana Jones movies heist movies?
Great fucking question, because I also have a couple of franchise questions about that. Justin?
No.
No.
Those
Why?
those are action adventure movies.
Okay.
Because the goal of in which one in particular were you thinking of, or just all of them?
I think all of them. All of them are Indiana Jones is trying to steal something, either off the
He
Nazis or just
Yeah.
trying to.
He is always taking
There's
something.
chases.
Yeah.
Right. I think what differentiates those movies is that they're so much grander in their scale, right? So it's not just about the one object. It's like the whole movie is an adventure, right? But if you look at like a Logan Lucky type of movie,
Yeah.
or Usual Suspects or whatever, it's like those aren't these big epic adventure tales. There's a specific goal, a certain thing that they're trying to steal. Even like Gone in 60 Seconds or like Fast and the Furious, like those aren't on the scale of Indiana Jones, and there aren't all these other necessarily elements to it. I think so. I think Indiana Jones is just bigger than an actual heist movie. But I mean, he is trying to obtain something in every movie.
It's interesting that. Go ahead, Zach. I think you had a counterpoint.
No, I just got
Okay.
one more.
Well, I think it's interesting that you say that it's this grandiose tale, because I think the best heist movies borrow from that. Because like Logan Lucky is like this entire world that they paint. It's this great character piece that happens to be a heist movie. Point Break is an awesome action movie that happens to be a heist movie. So what was your other one?
Well, I agree with Justin, because I don't think technically, the Indiana Jones films are heist movies. They just
Okay.
have a lot of those similar characteristics. But speaking now in terms of very similar to the Indiana Jones movies that have the same characteristics, but is National Treasure a heist movie?
That's a great one too. That's
I-
not.
I think it's
these
more
are neither of the
heisty
ones that
than-
I had a question about. So that's cool.
It
I
has
think
police,
more so
criminal.
than Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because that is specifically.
Fuck yes,
But that also.
it is that.
The reason that one's tricky though is because it's like the first act of the movie is a full-on heist movie, like when they're trying to
Right.
steal the Declaration of Independence, and then
Right.
once they do, then it sort of opens up and becomes more than just that. Like
Yeah.
it's just not like they've already stolen it, and then there's all this other stuff that they
Sure,
have to do.
sure.
So like if the movie just was focused around them stealing it, I think it'd be a full-on heist movie. But because that's only like the first 45 minutes, I think then just because there's so much extra, that's when it becomes more of the bigger adventure.
So Derek agrees with you that yes, it is a heist movie. He also says Independent Dance. Okay,
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I'm happy. I'm
yeah.
happy about it, but
And then Fast and the Furious, greater heist movie than Point Break.
Nope.
You've not seen Point
Nope.
Break. I'm just gonna tell you right now, because if you had, you would take that back in a minute. What about the James Bond movies? Not heist. They're action.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're action adventure. I mean, espionage is its own genre almost.
Okay.
But I mean, they're not heist movie. In my mind, a heist movie is focused around the heist.
Okay.
Specifically.
All right. Here's my last one. Rogue One.
Oh.
That's a heist movie.
Oh.
That's why it's good.
It's pretty
Fuck.
close. I mean, for being as big as it is, I mean, it's pretty close to just being a straight up heist movie.
Yeah. It's a heist movie in the Star Wars
It's
franchise.
like a heist adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably allow
Top
that
3
one.
Star Wars flick. Absolutely, Derek.
I'd probably allow that one.
I mean, it's the best Star Wars movie in the last 20 years.
Well,
So
Well.
this is
Another day.
We've been down this road before. My opinion is that the best trilogy in Star Wars is actually not a trilogy traditionally they should think of. I think it's Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, A New Hope.
I mean, this is definitely another conversation.
Yeah, but
Phantom Menace.
That's
just throwing it out
my
there. Numero
opinion.
uno.
Right. Okay, so let's dive into the important. Is it more important to have a good boost, right? Like the job, or is the cast more important?
Yeah, this was my category, and I think this is a really interesting question because so many great heist movies have both, right?
Right.
It's hard to choose. Why do you like the movie more? Do you like it because it's got this awesome cast of different characters that a lot of times over the years were like big A-list stars and things like that? So these big fun casts versus the scale of the job and the excitement of this big score, whatever it would be. So I was thinking to myself, which is actually the more important element of a great heist movie? Did you guys think about this at all?
Yes.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on it?
Personally, I think the cast. Because for the life of me, I couldn't really tell you. Because, like, Ocean's 11, for example.
The Bellagio.
Yeah. Like, they're stealing. Their goal is to steal the money.
Yeah.
But that's not really. They don't actually, like, physically steal money. The whole point is to, like, knock off the security system. Or is that Ocean's 13?
I don't know.
See, that's the thing. I can't even tell you what the fuck they're doing in
Okay,
Ocean's 11,
yeah.
but I know Don Cheadle's in it, Brad Pitt's in it, Matt Damon's in it. Like, it's a total posse.
Don Cheadle with that accent.
Yeah,
That
like,
fucking
the
gets
worst.
me. It's so bad. Hang on, man. I'm getting it done. It's bizarre. Justin, do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's why the boost is more important. Heat has probably one of the best fucking casts you could ask for. Pacino versus De Niro straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Val Kilmer just running around being handsome and with long blonde hair. And, like, all of the sub-characters underneath everybody are awesome. I love that it's, like, 2 teams against each other. Like, there's a lot of awesome shit. But the heist isn't that important to you. The heist never matters. The boost never matters. The fact that De Niro's trying to get away never really matters to you. You're just kind of watching this star-studded cast go around in a circle, like playing, nut tag with each other.
Well, so you're saying the characters are more important?
No, I'm saying you have to have a good boost, a good heist.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, the characters just go to waste by dancing around each other.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying the boost is more important because it heightens the characters themselves.
Right,
That's
right.
an interesting take.
And I think there's obviously things that exceptions to prove the rule. Oceans would be that for me. Like, that cast is so stacked and every interaction with any of them is so fucking good. It's painful and you can't care about the heist that much because you're more wrapped up in the love story or Brad Pitt being funny or, whatever. But particularly in Heat, I thought that is where Point Break did really well, is that it had a pretty limited cast, in honesty. It's just Keanu and Swayze. Everybody else is kind of like a no-name, and then Anthony Kiedis is in it randomly for like 20 minutes. But, like, it's a pretty no-name cast, and the 2 of them are great, but they put enough of, like, awesome heists in and, like, giving the bank robbers a nickname, the ex-presidents, and, like, this whole gimmick. Like, there's a lot of fucking cool shit in here. Chad jumps in the chat. What's up? Check out Chad's podcast. I'll call you right back. It's a fan favorite here at Thoughts from the Bench. God damn it, I forgot True Romance. That's on the list. Gary Busey is in it. Yeah, how about Gary Busey in Point Break being cast as an actual actor, not as just Gary Busey in a movie.
But there was a time when
That's
he could
awesome.
actually act, and
Yeah.
he wasn't just some crazy ass Busey. Yeah, he was in one of the Lethal Weapons, I believe. I can't remember which
I
one.
think you're right.
There's a great like Busey raw moment though when he jumps into the pool. Like
Yeah.
that's how I expect Gary Busey to
Right.
jump into a fucking
Yeah,
pool.
he's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sideways.
So with this category, the one in particular that I really thought
talked
about
me too.
was the Fast and the Furious movies in particular, like, the fifth one. I mean, they're all almost heist movies in a sense. But
Yeah.
in those movies, the cast is very almost now iconic after this many years, and it's all, very diverse and very interesting. They all have their own roles, and they're kind of beloved as part of that franchise. But then the movies themselves are about such massive, cool, fun,
Yeah.
like trying to steal the safe out of the fucking thing, and they're driving it down the road and everything. So it's like, in those scenarios, it feels like that's as good, if not better, because
Right.
of how big and fun and awesome it is, and the scale of it is just so insane, So like, in that scenario, do you guys still think that do you still hold the same thoughts about that?
I do, because I think you can do a sweet heist movie with a no-name cast, but I don't think you can do a heist movie with no fucking good heist in a great cast.
It doesn't have to be a famous cast per se, but I think more the characters, not the cast, is what we should talk about. Not because
So,
do the characters have to be fun and
so
interesting.
what's
and
the
cool?
question then?
What's more important, the boost or the characters, not the
Oh.
cast? Yeah, we should have clarified. I think
Yeah,
characters
because
is more
I've been
appropriate.
thinking about the cast the whole time. Zach?
Well, they kind of go hand in hand. But
they
to
do,
your
but
point just now, where you said like an A-list crew, but it's like if you don't have A-listers, like there's a movie that came out 2 years ago in 2018 called Widows that Steve McQueen directed. That was a fantastic movie, and it's all these leading ladies who are not super well known, like Viola Davis is in it, and Elizabeth Debicki, who's just in Tenet. But it's like it's a awesome fucking movie, but it's not the biggest known actresses, right? But it's still amazing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an A-list, I don't think. To answer this question for myself before you guys jump back in, I think the cast, I think the characters are more important just because they're the basis of films.
Yes, 21 is a heist movie, and Busey is in Entourage organic as fuck. And he's also organic as fucking Scrubs, and it's awesome.
21 is not a heist movie.
You don't think that's a heist movie? They're trying to rip off the casino.
Yeah, but they're continually doing it. It's not a heist is an event. They're robbing the casino, but they're not. It's not one big goal of robbing it at this one point in time. Like Ocean's 11 is that version.
Yeah, but the town isn't like that. The town, they do a bunch of heists.
But
Point Break, same way.
But I think they're like legitimate heists. I think 21 were like that like muddies the water because they're not necessarily like doing like a heist.
Yeah, that's a crime. That's like a crime movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Chad agrees with you guys. 21, not a heist movie. And Chad, I promise I will read your list at some point here. Gone in 60 Seconds says Abex 11. Yeah. Gone in 60 Seconds, definitely a heist movie. They steal the fucking cars.
That's like the definition of a heist movie. Their goal is like you have one night to steal 50 cars.
Right.
So that's the definition. Yeah.
Okay. If we're swinging it back to the character versus actual cast is what we're kind of digging into, I do think the characters are more important than the boost. Because Logan Lucky has a sweet boost, and it's awesome, but the characters are what make it cool.
Yeah, like you were saying about like Reservoir Dogs, like you don't even see the heist,
Right?
but like you don't care because the characters are so fucking good in it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Okay,
Cool.
I'm cool with that.
Interesting. Yeah, agreed.
I want to throw out one heist we forgot about. Not a heist
absolutely.
movie, but Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Great heist.
It's a great heist.
Incredible heist.
It's incredible.
So is the School of Rock, if you think about it in some way, shape,
All
or
Jack
form.
Black movies.
Yeah.
Any Jack Black
Holiday.
movie technically is a heist movie. Yeah, well, that was a heist. The fact that he was in the Holiday and got to sleep with
He
whichever
stole a
pretty
role.
woman.
He
Yeah.
stole somebody's role.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, speaking of Reservoir Dogs and your boy QT, who loves his music.
I was just playing the soundtrack to what were we listening to?
Grindhouse.
Thank you. I'm losing my fucking mind. What is the goddamn movie?
Death Proof.
Thank
Planet
you.
Terror.
Death Proof. We're listening to Death Proof soundtrack. I think, and this is hinging very heavily on Baby Driver and Reservoir Dogs, but if you use real music in a heist movie, it's so fucking awesome. And I think it's not necessary, but I do think it's the calling card to an awesome heist movie, is that, like, montage driving scene, cut to, insert whatever fucking song here.
As opposed to an actual score.
Yeah. Because, like, all right, so Logan Lucky had a score. Baby Driver was a soundtrack. Reservoir Dogs is a soundtrack. Heat was a score. Point Break was a score. Like, it just, I think there's something added to those things when you take a badass rock song or a rap song and you insert them into the movie in some way, shape, or form.
Does it create a sense of realism that, like, you could be in the car because having the radio on, like, listening to that song?
I think that's a great point. Yeah. And I mean, I think we've talked about this enough, or, well, I don't know. But, like, for me, I always prefer movies that use real music. You can have a score, and scores can lend themselves, and occasionally things like Dark Knight have such an incredible score, right? Or anything John Williams does, or Danny Elfman. But I think 90% of the time, if you take real songs and put them into movies, they are that much better for having them. I don't know why, but that's my opinion.
No, I agree, because if you think, like, if you and your buddies do something like stupid or hype and you get in the car and you're all amped up, imagine you turn the radio on and cranked it up and, like, fucking Henry Mancini's playing.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
you'll be like, huh? Like, it just doesn't fit. Like, you want to hear, like, something familiar, like something like, you know, like a fucking badass rapper rock song.
well, friend of the program, Josh Oshie, used to play Hans Zimmer music when we would do late night Sheets runs down back roads in Butler County. And yes, normally I would agree with you, but if Josh Oshie's behind the wheel of an F-150 and Hans Zimmer's playing, it's going to be a good night.
It slaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a heist movie with Justin's mask. Yeah, Derek, we all had them on, and he's just refused to take it off at this point.
I feel so natural in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I'd like to see a really badass heist movie with just like a rockin' score, though, because there is something that you want to feel, that, like, that adrenaline, you know, that momentum, that really either, you know, banger rock song or like rap or whatever, just has like a real heavy in your heart type of feel to it, right? And I don't know if you can certainly create that with a score, but I think it's a little bit different, and you would have to find the right instruments and the right tempo and just create it, you know, musically, rhythmically, just amongst the instruments and not have the score included. I'm sure you could do it, but I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm trying to think if, you know, like a Fast and Furious scene would just have like a banging written score. I don't know, but I agree with your point that it adds to it, I think, when you have the real, actual music, real songs, real lyrics.
Chad says in the chat, do you consider Mission Impossible a heist movie? I do, the first one at least. And then it kind of gets outside of heist movie after that. But I think the first one for sure is a heist movie.
Well, it's the same as with National Treasure, right? Like, it starts with a heist, and then it just opens up after that. So I think it becomes too big for just being a heist movie, and that's where it really becomes more than that. But it certainly has parts of it that are a heist movie.
Yeah. Iconic scores. So, Chad, you're saying you prefer an iconic score? Yeah, I just think... And again, this is, I think, even more of a preference thing, but the town had Shipping Up to Boston. And I'm just, like, rattling through them right now in my head. I need to look at our list that we're going to use later.
I mean, from a craft perspective, I mean, creating an iconic score is, no question, like, amazing. When you hear something that someone just created for the movie is fucking so much better.
Italian Job has that sick Pink Floyd cover of Money in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. Reservoir Dogs obviously is K-Rock 70s thing is the whole way through that. Oceans is a score, I think. Logan Lucky does use John Denver's West Virginia.
Yeah.
What is that fucking name of the actual song?
Country Roads.
Thank you. Uses Country Roads as a motif through the movie, not necessarily that it's like during the actual big heist scenes or anything like that. Gone in 60 Seconds has a credible soundtrack. One of the
Right.
best soundtracks ever. Fast and Furious, again, a big soundtrack movie. Drive is all score, I think.
Drive is definitely a score. And
Yeah.
Drive, I think, is a really great example of a score enhancing the movie.
Sure.
And it really, like, the sort of techno style of that movie or of that music just really enhances, like, the noirish neon lights of, like, Hollywood at
Yes.
night as you're driving
Yes.
around. And I think that's a great example of a score enhancing a film, like a heist film specifically. But generally, I think they probably lean towards more real music, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was saying Mission Impossible had an iconic score. Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's no debate,
absolutely.
no question on that.
And you prefer a soundtrack as well. Yeah, I think the soundtrack is nice. Now, You See Me Too is a banger.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
That's the heist movie with or not a heist movie. That's well,
The Magic Heist.
yeah, the
movie?
magicians they robbing banks in their magic shows.
Oh,
and they had
that's cool.
Jesse Eisenberg and Woody
Yeah.
Harrelson and Dave Franco
Oh,
and
wow.
Isla Fisher.
Stacked cast.
Yeah, the first one was really good. I don't know if I saw the second one with Daniel Radcliffe, but the first one was a lot of fun. That's a heist movie, I think, right? Yeah, Zach. Or is it just a crime movie? Because they commit a couple robberies, I guess.
I
Throughout.
would say it's a heist movie.
Yeah, heist movie with magicians.
Okay. How about Inception?
Yeah.
That's a heist movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a very unique heist movie because, honest to God, I don't know if I ever thought about it as a heist movie until this second. As much
Oh,
as I
yeah?
love the movie and as many times as I've watched it, yeah, I had never thought about it because it's so cerebral. You know,
Right.
it's not just
Right.
about, and there's so many layers to it
Sure.
that it's not just like, yeah, we're gonna go rob the bank of $100 million. You know, like
Right.
it's just so much more elaborate than that, and that's
Right.
probably why. But now that you say it, absolutely,
The core plot of it is a heist movie.
absolutely.
And it does have some sick car chase scenes in it. Has a stellar cast.
Score is fantastic. Hans Zimmer's iconic score.
It's probably a pretty good heist movie we probably left off.
I think Tenet is a heist movie.
I haven't seen Tenet yet, so I'll take your true opinion of it.
Yeah, Tenet's a weird one. I'd have to think about it because what
you
the movie
just
itself-
like cauliflower?
the movie itself is just like, whoosh,
Yeah.
but possibly, yeah, Christopher Nolan. I mean, we've talked about on the show before, and I specifically told you about this when I told you to watch Heat. That was heavily influenced in The Dark Knight. Like
Yes.
that was
The
a lot of it.
scene for
Either
scene
the
at
look of it,
points.
the feel of it, yeah, scene by scene, shot by shot. Like Heat heavily influenced The Dark Knight, and I think Christopher Nolan is a huge heist fan in general. And in a lot of his movies, you have that element to
Yeah.
it.
Sweet Chaz, stick around. We're going to talk about Logan Lucky later. I thought I had another point, but that's right.
I'll throw something in real quick.
Yeah,
when
go
we're
for it.
talking about soundtracks and scores enhancing movies. I rewatched Gone Girl the other night.
Ooh.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yeah, I mean they just because
Fuck
they did
yeah.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo as well.
Yep.
And they
And, I
won
mean,
for Social Network.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, the score's so fucking good.
You know
Absolutely.
what's this is diverging off the topic, but it's one of my favorite things to talk about. My coworker, I trust as a taste and an opinion on film and television and all that kind of stuff. We're both giant Black Mirror fans. And when the Ashley O episode came out, and, you know, that song was so catchy, right? The Ashley O,
Yes.
hey, I'm a hoe,
Yeah.
na, 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 right? And he's like, I love this song. And I'm like, you know that's Head Like a Hole, right? And he goes, what's that? And I go, 9 Inch Nails? He's like, I don't know 9 Inch Nails. And I was like, Trent Reznor? And he's like, you mean the composer?
Oh,
Like, that's where,
Oh,
but
wow.
that's,
Holy
how
shit.
cool is that, though, that Trent Reznor, to certain people now, is just a score producer.
Yeah.
Like, that's
wild.
awesome
Yeah,
to
they
me.
had a really successful second career in
Yeah.
film composing
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
David Fincher's movies
Right.
and beyond.
Right.
But yeah, the trifecta there that they did of Social Network and then Gone Girl and then Dragon Tattoo was just an insane run.
Yeah.
All of them so unique and all of them incredible scores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for them guys.
Best robbery scenes.
The best robbery scene of all time. Oh boy. The Great Train Robbery, 1930s.
Right?
Yeah.
I think because there's certain. Okay, so, and this is where I think Heat has everybody beat. That opening scene in Heat, which is pretty much recreated in The Dark Knight, is electric. Where they're all in the goalie masks, and they're ramming the truck, and they're all standing back to back to back with the guns, and they're doing that sweet crane shot. Like, I mean, it's fucking awesome. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie kind of sucks after that. Until you get a really cool scene with Al Pacino and De Niro sitting down in a restaurant later. And I want to talk about that a little bit more because I think that scene to me is closer to The Dark Knight than any of the other scenes. But so that scene to me is the best robbery scene in a movie, hands down, period, done.
And it's because
The tension is being built. It feels like I think the runtime of it is less than 10 minutes, but it feels like half an hour because you're just sinking in it, and you're like, when are they going to get caught? When are they going to get caught? This is taking too long. This is taking too long. And he's like fussing, trying to find the papers, and like, it's just, you're on edge the entire fucking time. And then the guy at the end snaps, kills the guy. Then you realize we've scaled past a robbery. Now we're into some real shit. You get a sick car chase scene after. To me, that's the best. That is the A+. And I think if you watch any robbery or any heist movie after Heat, you fucking see Heat in the robbery scenes. The town is borrowing from that with the nun masks and all that kind of shit, right? They're also borrowing off of Point Break with the president's mask. I mean, there's so many people that shout back to Heat's opening scene that I think that is the best. The town for the win, says Nick Joe 34.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would argue with you about Heat, but I mean, we could talk about the town all day. We did talk about the town all day on the show.
Yeah,
we did.
Zach, what do you think?
I can't drink whiskey with this on.
I mean, I can't deny anything that Josh just said about Heat. I want to say that, and see, here's my thing, is that Inside Man,
Yeah.
the entire fucking movie
Is a robbery.
Yeah. So I'm torn, but then
That's true.
you know,
That's a good point.
but my favorite robbery scene in any movie is fucking Coming to America. when Sam Jackson holds up McDowell's.
Wasn't ready for that.
That's my favorite robbery scene. But the best, oh god, it's hard because even with the Ocean's movies, you know, like to an extent, the entire thing is one long drawn out like con, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would go. I would lean the town, but I
Okay.
can't deny that it pulls heavily from,
Right.
you know, Heat.
Sweet Trad says Trent is one of my best friend's cousins. That's cool. Derek points up Town for the win. Do heist movies have to follow the people trying to steal the thing? No. Actually, Inside Man probably being, and Point Break a little bit, but Inside Man being the fact that it is mostly about Denzel, who's the cop trying to stop them.
Right. It has to be from one side or the other. I mean, it has to be from the people trying to obtain it, or it has to be from the people trying to stop them.
Well, Point Break's down the middle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Whose perspective is that movie from?
Well, no, I guess it's from Keanu's. So it's from.
It's either from the good guy or the bad guy. There's not like a.
We know more about the bad guy than most times when it's from the cop's perspective. Like Inside Man, we don't know much about the bad guys, whereas in Point Break, he's best friends with the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the
well, yeah, I mean, I
twist
think
on it.
people naturally find those characters more interesting and more fun to root for than, you know,
The anti-hero.
Yeah, than the cops necessarily. But that's not always the case. I mean, there are certainly plenty of movies where you're on the cop side, but in a lot of these, you know, Oceans types movies or whatever, it's more fun to be on the side of the anti-heroes, I think.
I agree.
Which is why we have that category coming up next.
I have to change my answer.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And this might be getting too crazy.
You don't want to stay with Coming to America? You don't want to stick with it?
It's still my
You
favorite.
can stick with it.
It's still my favorite. It is still my favorite. And now I don't know. I think this constitutes, and I mean, I'll argue it if I have to,
Okay.
but technically, the end of the first Matrix movie, when the agent is trying to steal Lawrence Fishburne's
Oh my
thoughts,
god.
that whole sequence.
This is becoming meta. This
Yeah.
is the Matrix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting real deep into it now.
that's technically like a robbery. And if I have to think about that whole scene with them getting the guns and going into the building and then going to the roof and then the helicopter and shit, if that is theoretically a robbery, that could be the best robbery scene.
And why is that? I mean, the technical aspect of it, of course, is through the roof. But why would that be your best robbery scene? Let's call it, for the sake of this argument, a heist robbery scene. Why is that the best one?
I mean, it's the entire sequence is probably like 20, 30 minutes, and it's some of the most iconic moments in cinema, I think. Like the shootout in when they enter the building is fucking wild. They're on the rooftop. We get fucking bullet time. They crash the helicopter into the building and they show the glass like rippling. Like,
So it's for the effects, a lot of it, you would say.
a lot of it for the effects, but I mean,
I
it's so enjoyable to watch.
I don't hate what you're saying. Chat, feel free to jump in on this. Whether you think the last scene in The Matrix is a heist. Last act, really, of The Matrix. But to me, I understand why you're pointing out, kind of like I just did with Heat, right? Where I'm like, everybody copies this.
Yeah.
Anytime they steal something from Heat, right? I understand where you're borrowing that idea, expanding it into The Matrix in the sense that it's one of the most iconic things in film history is that final, robbery or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know that it makes it, like, I agree that it's iconic, but I don't know that it makes it a robbery. Like, I think we're closer with the Mission Impossible and the National Treasure as being a robbery or a heist than we are with The Matrix.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking stretch.
I like it.
It's a stretch.
I'm all about it.
I'm not sure that I'm right at all. I could be horribly off track here, but
Mr. Glees, at this point, I'm convinced that Lord of the Rings is a heist movie saga. Yes, it is.
I mean,
yes, it is. Harry Potter's a heist movie.
I love Blue Streak in the chat. That is a really fun movie though.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if I call it a heist movie, but it's definitely a fun movie with Martin Lawrence.
Chad and Derek are saying The Dark Knight best robbery scene, instant wow factor, and
assuming that is what the open of the movie.
yeah, I would think that would be the open of the movie, the
Yeah.
bank robbery scene.
Mhm.
I've got all your money.
what's the movie with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito?
What?
I don't know.
Oh,
my
God.
let me look it
National
up.
Security? I don't know. I
Oh,
can't think of them
shit.
being in the movie together. But
It's a great fucking movie.
ooh, someone just threw Place Beyond the Pines into the chat. That's a hell of a movie.
Oh
man.
yeah,
Derek C. in France, who did Blue Valentine and Light Between Oceans.
What's the worst that could happen?
this fucking movie.
This fucking
This
other-
fucking movie. This
okay,
movie
hit me
is
What's
with
the
it.
worst that could happen? A 2001 American comedy film with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito.
Ugh.
Never heard of it.
No, me either.
I'm gonna throw it out there too. Martin Lawrence wildly underrated.
Oh, sure.
I think, the Big Mama's
Black
House
Knight?
2 poster.
Big Mama's House too. Yeah, Big Mama's House in general. Underrated for sure. Yeah, and he made a comeback with Bad Boys for Life last year. $400 million at the box office, big hit. It's the highest grossing movie of the year, I think, this year, thus far, because we just gave up after February.
2020 is a motherfucker.
Just playing a couple of clips here from what's the worst thing that could happen.
It's
Is
kind of like
this,
an identity
the
theft
trailer,
type deal.
the trailer. I know this fucking trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this live? Can the viewer see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my. Oh, Danny DeVito.
This
being
does
a
not look
perv.
familiar at all.
No. Ooh.
No.
This is like Martin Lawrence
he's
post
stealing
Bad
the egg.
Boys.
It's a heist.
He's
Past
stealing the
Big
egg.
Mama's house, and Danny DeVito is like in this weird limbo in his career where he's now turning to comedy. This is epic.
He's so young looking. I'm used to like Frank
Yeah.
from Philly.
Half Bake equals heist movie. Dude, Where's My Car? Heist movie.
No, because they're not stealing anything, and they're just trying to find their car.
Their car was stolen.
Yeah, but that's the movie.
Actually,
is
no,
about
it's
them
not.
trying
They
to
just
find
forgot
it.
where they left
Yeah,
it.
the movie's about them trying to find
I
their
love
car.
the chat right now, though.
Yeah.
Just like, that's a heist movie.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to go back up, make sure I haven't missed anything. Bad Boys 2 equals good guys trying to steal. Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of back
Gabrielle
to
Union. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that was back to kind of what we were talking about, though, where we're talking about the difference between an action movie and a heist movie.
Well, now we're getting into just best scenes of stealing shit, which
Yeah.
is not necessarily part of a heist movie per
Yeah.
se. Like when you started talking about tension in your comments, I think was really interesting with why you loved that scene in Heat so much,
Right.
because of all the tension that it created. Immediately, the very first scene that came to my mind as maybe the most tense scene I've ever seen in film, which is a movie that you have not seen, and I know that for a fact.
Oh,
Zach, have you ever seen Sicario?
I have.
The scene in Sicario where they go into Juarez to kidnap that guy and they're driving out afterwards and across the Bridge of the Americas and everything, that entire sequence is Emily Blunt and Josh Brolin are in it, and they're like they're like
say no
DEA
more.
agents, and
I'm
so
in.
they drive into Juarez, Mexico to bring this drug lord back across the border. So they go in and then they go out. It's like a 15-minute sequence, but it's the most tense thing I can ever remember watching in film. The soundtrack is just, the score is perfect, and the danger of the situation and everything. So that's not necessary. That's not a heist movie.
Okay.
And this is just, it's not necessarily a robbery even. It's like them kidnapping a guy.
Sure.
But that's the first thing I thought of. And so we're
Right.
getting a little bit away from heist movies here with our topic of robberies and stealing things. But I
Right,
think
right.
tension is a big part of why the scenes that work really work. Like, sure, they can be comedic and maybe they're fun for the effects, or like just the idea of what they're stealing is so bonkers or whatever. But I think a lot of the really, really strong ones in the end come down to the tense factor and making you really feel like, are they going to get away with it? Or like, ooh, this is about to happen, or why hasn't this happened yet? You know, you
Yeah.
have to really feel that tension. I think that's where the
I
strength
agree.
of all good
Okay.
heist scenes and all good robberies come from.
Chad's saying that he thinks Mission Impossible and The Matrix is very similar idea. It's too big. I also enjoyed when they steal the vault from the police station in Fast 5. We were talking about that
Yeah,
a
that
little
was
bit
one of the
earlier.
ones. Yeah, first ones come to mind. Sure.
Place Beyond the Pines has some good robbery scenes. Not seen Place Beyond the Pines.
Fantastic movie.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, Eva Mendes.
shut
yeah,
up.
It's
All right, I'm
long.
in.
It's like 2:30 or something like that. But it's it's a character movie. It's fantastic.
I just rewatched Black Knight last night. Says
Oh, yeah.
Derek.
Oh, yeah.
It's on HBO. Half Baking was heist movie. Maui Wowie.
Dumb
Mr.
and Dumber
Gleason's
is a
laugh-
heist movie?
Dumb and Dumber is a
Yeah.
heist movie.
Mm.
They
No,
do
we're
steal a
getting away
lot
from-
of shit.
We're getting away
Touche,
from it a little bit.
Casey Jones.
We're getting away
Drive,
from it.
not only a good heist/robbery movie, but amazing soundtrack.
Absolutely, yeah. And we
Yes.
have Drive to talk about more later in the show, but we
Yeah.
did touch on the soundtrack, which is
Right.
absolutely unique and fantastic.
Rick and Morty episodes on the heist movie tropes might be the most spot-on descriptions ever. Yes, I agree with that. Actually, might not be any heist in Drive.
No, I mean, because he's in the car the whole time, so they like when they go into certain scenes. I know there's one at the end when the guy gets shot. He just waits in the car and drives people around afterwards. That's the whole point of the movie, is he's a driver.
Mrs. Gleese. Is there a Mr. and Mrs. Gleese in the chat? No, they're both Mrs. I just fucked that up. I'm sorry.
Huh.
Mrs. Gleese says Public Enemies was good, a good one back in the day.
Yeah, I think Public Enemies is really underrated. Actually.
I wanted to ask you about that because that's Johnny Depp. That's
I mean,
your boy.
this was Johnny Depp sort of on the way
Oh,
down.
it's both you.
but-
Okay, great.
Yeah, Johnny, this was 2008 or 9, so he was still in his prime.
Yeah.
And this was Michael Mann who directed this movie.
Right.
It was very long, very character movie. Great. I mean, Marion Cotillard in it. It's a fantastic cast. And he plays John Dillinger, right, who is a notorious real life criminal.
Sure.
From back in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a heist movie, but it's absolutely in the realm of, some of the things that we're talking about. Underrated, I'd say.
If I could throw something out there, going back
Sure.
to talking about scenes with tension, like you were mentioning Sicario, it's not even from a movie, but the continuous shot in True Detective Season 1, where Matthew McConaughey is getting out of the projects, I mean, it's 7 minutes of pure fucking anxiety.
Well, that's okay. So this actually compounds really well off of last week, right? We talked about how Kubrick invented the oneer.
Yeah.
Okay. Every good heist movie should have a good fucking oneer in it.
Yeah.
Heat has a great oneer. Point Break has great oneers. Inside Man has like 7 incredible oneers where they're going in and out of the fucking truck. They're in and out. He's walking up to the door. He's pulling away from the door. I mean, the camera work in Inside Man, probably my favorite out of all of the movies I watched. Like, it's so good that like I was like, damn.
Right.
Damn.
Well, when you're not distracted by all these cuts and everything, that's why the John Wick franchise is so successful, because all those action sequences, they just let it play. It's choreography and it's just happening. You know, you don't do all these fast cuts and fast edits where you're like, what the hell's going on? Where am I? Like, what's happening? Like, when they just show it to you and let you see it, that's when it's the most successful, and that's when audiences enjoy it the most, because they can really get into it rather than being distracted by all these changes and all these different camera angles and things like that.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I don't know if I'd say they all should have one, but it certainly, I think, helps keep the viewer or pull them in even more.
Yeah. Damn, Set It Off, also a great heist movie.
I have one more thing I have to say.
Of course.
Because I'm
Jump
fucking
in, dude.
determined.
Don't ask, just go.
I'm determined to mention this in every episode I'm on from here on out.
Okay.
Lucky Number 11.
He's a heist movie.
One of the best robberies. Lucy Liu Stole My Heart.
Oh my god. Well, hey, listen. Right
I
there
just want
with
to go
you,
on
buddy.
record. I'm going to mention Lucy Liu in every fucking episode I'm on.
Right there with you.
Well, here's the deal. We posted somebody posted to the story earlier a clip from the Kubrick thing.
Yeah.
And I was tagging Lucy Liu,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a song playing, and I can't remember the context, but it fit. It fit.
Okay.
And then I was like, let's say Lucy Liu sees this.
Okay.
But intentionally, I played music over the post, so someone, if they wanted to hear the audio, would have to click it. I was like, let's drive that traffic. And I was like, let's say Lucy Liu does see this.
Sure.
And she just sees that she's tagged in something with this song, and all she reads is that rape scene. Question mark.
Yeah.
And she's
Our,
tagged.
yeah,
And I
our
was
category.
like,
One of our categories that night.
that post was live for like 20 seconds, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't want this to be
Playing
how
with
Lucy
fire on
Liu
that one.
notices me.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Yeah, but
That's funny. I dig it.
just
Yeah.
call me. Call me.
If she's watching.
Yeah, if you see this, call me.
I like that as an on-running joke. That
nice.
and that.
It's not a joke.
I know it's not, and neither is what we're going to talk about later when we cast our crew. I think Justin probably knows who my first overall pick is.
Oh, sure. I think
Lucy
everyone
Liu?
does at this point.
No, it could be yours though.
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato, not Vanessa Hudgens. Lucy Liu over everything, says Deke in the chat.
Let's go.
Zach, this is your category, so jump in, dude.
Yeah.
Drive the car.
So, best anti-heroes, and this all spawned from the idea of if you have a heist movie, by nature is your protagonist an anti-hero because they're theoretically doing something morally corrupt through the process of stealing.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm still torn because I know it's not a heist movie, and we've already discussed this, but I'm not sure that Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, is not the best anti-hero. And I don't even know that he is an anti-hero.
Until he fights the Nazis.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess he's not, because he's not stealing in like a morally corrupt sense, because his big thing is it belongs in a museum.
Is it Clockwork Orange the only time in film history we felt bad for the Nazis?
I'm not even going to answer that one. Not touching that one, for sure. It's all you guys.
Anyway,
Well, this was Thoughts from the
this
Movies.
is Thoughts from the Movies.
You can catch us on Patreon after this.
Vegeta, best anti-hero. Oh, show's canceled. Thanks,
Yeah.
Derek.
That's an interesting thought,
Shut
though.
it down.
I mean, it really is. I don't think that Indiana Jones is an anti-hero. I think he's like full-on
I don't know,
hero for sure.
He's kind of a dick,
Eh.
and he's stealing shit, and he's not nice to the little kid.
Yeah, but the idea of an anti-hero is not just that they're like kind of mean or whatever. Like, they have to be doing things that are morally questionable and have motives that are ethically, unstable, and they have to actually have qualities to them about who they are and what they're doing that's not seen as is appropriate and not quite just, right? So, I mean, I think Indiana Jones in a lot of ways, like, he embodies a lot of that. Like, his whole thing is he wants to preserve history and put these things in their proper place and stuff. So I wouldn't agree with that one. But I do think,
and that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not sure that he is an anti-hero because he's not like stealing shit for like his own personal gain. But in terms of like, expanding from the world of cinema, I think my personal favorite anti-hero is Dennis Leary in Rescue Me.
Sure.
That's a great example of an anti-hero.
Or Tony Soprano even. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to fucking top that.
Deke says all Harrison Ford roles are anti-hero, a.k.a. Han Solo. What about in Air Force One where he's the actual fucking president? Is he still an anti-hero? I don't know.
The Fugitive.
Definitely an anti-hero.
But your question is that in heist movies, are all of the protagonists anti-heroes if they're on the criminal side of
Correct.
things?
I think that's the question.
Yes.
So Ocean is an anti-hero.
Right.
Robert De Niro, anti-hero in Heat. I should have written this fucking list down.
Well, it's interesting because you have to think about sort of the motivations behind why they're stealing something and what it is they're stealing. I mean, if there's, certain movies where someone is being forced to steal something against their will, I don't know that I'd consider them to be an anti-hero.
So Baby Driver.
I mean, he gets paid to do that.
But he doesn't. He's just getting square for something that's not his fault. He boosted Kevin Spacey's car and as a kid, and now he's an indentured slave to this fucking guy, and he's getting paid, but just really enough to fucking feed him so that he doesn't die and his foster dad doesn't die.
Right.
So like,
yeah, so that's where you get into like the real reason. But I mean, if you look at Gone in 60 Seconds,
anti-heroes.
Who in Nicolas Cage is an anti-hero in that movie?
Yeah.
You think so?
Like, he's trying to get out, he gets pulled back in, one last job, the whole 9 yards.
Right, but he's doing it to save his brother's life.
Yeah.
He's stealing cars to save his brother's life. And that is the dynamic at the heart of this. It's the dynamic at the heart of this question, right? Because you are doing something against the law. You are doing a criminal act to save someone you love's life. And this goes back to last week what we were talking about with sort of the ethics of Clockwork Orange and the right to choose your own life and choose your own things to say and choose your own things to do versus being told what to do. But in this case, of heist movies in general, I think a lot of the people often are anti-heroes, and they are the sort of, asshole douchebags that you can't help but rooting for, even though they are sort of corrupt and evil and doing things that aren't within the law. But that's like a great example, I think, is Gone in 60 Seconds, because you guys would say that in that scenario, Nicolas Cage's character is an anti-hero?
For sure.
Yeah. What do you think about Tom Hardy in The Drop?
I've not seen The Drop, but if Tom Hardy's in it,
yeah, you need to watch
he's
it.
just
it's
a hero.
Fantastic movie.
It's it's kind of like how he always uses Apple products. Let's just put it out that way.
That's why he's the real hero.
Yeah.
Also, Baby in Baby Driver uses an iPod.
So he has to be a hero.
So he has to be a hero.
Obviously. The Drop is really interesting, and just so you know, Josh, and for those of you watching, The Drop is a crime movie in New York where Tom Hardy, he plays a bartender at a bar that is known for doing money drops for the mob. And he is a guy who's not really interested in participating, but he's kind of forced to in this sort of racket, I guess you could say, and then he gets a little bit drawn into the criminal underworld the more the movie goes along. But he's a guy that has no interest in partaking in this one, but he is forced to. So similar to Baby Driver, but
sure.
I don't know if he qualifies as an anti-hero because he resists it so much. You know what I mean, Zach?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he resists it enough to not be an anti-hero. Like, he's wrapping up body parts.
Thank you for
he's
the
washing
tier 1
the blood
subscription
money
there, sweet
and
Chaz.
shit. Like, he might be reluctant, but he's not reluctant enough to the point where, like, he's removing himself from the situation, Like, he did kill Richie Wheeler, He did handle all this shit from James Gandolfini. And he really only...
Oh, that's that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I've not seen it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah. I think he only really acts, quote-unquote, heroic at the end to defend the girl he's interested in. Like, I think that's where his heroism is derived from.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I could see that. And we talked, I think another sort of similar vein is in Staying with Tom Hardy, because I know Josh loves it so much, but we did a show on Lawless not too long ago.
Yes.
And those are great examples, I think. It's not a heist movie per se, it's a bootlegging, it's a crime movie.
Yeah.
But, those are great examples of criminals who are anti-heroes. We see the movie through their eyes. We grow to care about these characters more so than the actual side of the law, just by the way the movie is portrayed. And, even though they're sort of unsavory. So I think in the grand scheme of things with heist movies and with robbery movies, when you're seeing it from the perspective of the ones doing the crimes, you're supposed to empathize with them when you see things from their perspective and their point of view. And in doing so, when you empathize or sympathize with the criminals, that's a key component of anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Let me jump in the chat, and then I have something to add here. So all anti-heroes have androids. Sweet Chaz says Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze.
Soze.
Yeah.
Who's
Usual
that?
Suspects.
Oh,
That's Kevin
okay,
Spacey in
okay.
Usual Suspects.
Okay.
Right.
God,
I don't know if I'd say he's an anti-hero, because I don't think he's any bit of a hero in that movie. And I think to be an anti-hero, you have to have a little bit of quality where people are rooting for you, in the grand scheme of the movie. And that's maybe the greatest reveal in cinema history. But I don't know that he is any sort of a character that we're rooting for at any point in the movie. Although I will never hesitate to talk about how much Kaiser Soze is a great character.
And then Deke gifted a tier 1 subscription to Chaz. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, I think in the same vein of the anti-hero discussion, I think what's really interesting is in Logan Lucky, where the brothers are clearly anti-heroes. They're doing this because Channing Tatum needs to move closer and have money to be around his daughter. The brother obviously is worse off after coming back from 2 tours in Afghanistan. But then the morons they get to help them, the redneck family, are just bad guys. They're booters, they're looters, they're robbers. They've done this shit before. So that's kind of a neat dynamic where the whole crew is kind of a dead split. Where the Logans are definitely anti-heroes. They're just a family down on their luck, just trying to finally get ahead. And then they enlist the help of some truly bad dudes, right, that you end up cheering for because of their, I don't know, just them being them, really. So I think, yeah, you need anti-heroes for if you're gonna do your heist movie around the robbers. However, I think it's fun when the anti-heroes have some actual bad guys next to them, because that I think gives them some street cred, right? Also, what about Ocean's 11? How is Ocean not the ultimate anti-hero? Because realistically, he's stealing money from a guy that built a business up from the ground, who is now dating his ex-wife, but by all accounts, treating her great. She lives at this great, mansion hotel thing, and everything she wants is paid for. She has catered dining every night. Like, in theory, Ocean's the really bad dude here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, yes, but we never feel like that, do we, when we're
No.
watching the movie? I mean, we're just
No, he's
rooting
just
for,
a hero.
Yeah, we're just rooting for George Clooney all day. But yeah, hold on a second, because now I'm starting to open this up in my mind and think a little bit about people in movies that are pulling off heists and things like that, in pulling off robberies and boosts and all these things. And I think that there are certainly examples of good guys doing these things who are just hero. I mean, can you be a hero who's just robbing somebody for a reason? Is that possible? Do they have to be an anti-heroes? Or like Indiana Jones, I don't think is the right example, but I think it's along the lines of can you just be a good person who is
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Robin Hood's
He's
the
an outlaw.
definition of an anti-hero.
Yeah, because he's an outlaw.
Right.
Right. And I'm
So
trying
can
to.
you
I feel
be
like
a good guy who just steals some shit from the bad guy, that's James Bond, no?
Benjamin Gates.
Who's Benjamin Gates?
National Treasure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right, yeah, so like that character, even though that's not a heist movie that, we talked about the beginning of it, certainly has that element. So,
But is there a heist movie with the good guy stealing stuff back from the bad guy?
I'm sure that there is. Off the top of my head, I don't know if I can think of some, but
Wait, so what was your question again, Justin?
do they have to be an anti-hero if they're the criminal in the heist movie, or can they just be a hero who is doing this, job?
I don't think
And
so.
I think that's actually what your original question was. Do they have to be anti-heroes?
I mean, just in the idea that, like, if they are the criminal and they are committing, the robbery, that is innately, like, a negative characteristic that makes them, that puts the an anti-hero.
Sure. And that what comes also down to how you define anti-hero. I mean,
Yeah.
is it more of the acts that this person are doing, or is it more of the personality? Like I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like I feel like everyone in Sin City is an anti-hero because they're just all like scumbags,
Yeah.
and they're all, like there are protagonists and there are people we root for in that, but they're definitely all shady, kind of seedy characters, right? So yeah, I'm just trying to think of the nature of anti-heroes in films, which is really interesting. And it depends how you view it. If there's certainly a cinematic in a storytelling and a narrative definition, but there's also the audience and whether they think of an anti-hero as someone based on who they are or what they do. And that's probably ultimately what it comes down to for everybody.
Man,
Yeah. Because, I mean, think about Ben Affleck in The Town.
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He was doing this because he has to. But that's still an anti-hero.
I'd still say so, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a pretty heavily involved criminal. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just a one-off
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great question, and I can't think of it. Let us know in the chat if you can think of any. Let me read.
Yeah.
Stealing is naughty, says Deke. That's correct. You
Amen.
guys need to make 4 more emotes so I can squash them. Okay, we will work on that. We actually have a Greg one that we've been working on for a minute. The Punisher, technically in the scene when he stole the money and threw it out the window, becomes a hero who steals something. Yeah.
Well, the Punisher...
I muted your mic. Why don't you fix it?
What?
Fix your mic, because it's all fucking...
Oh,
But the Punisher. Do you guys know the Punisher enough
Yeah.
to say that character, if it like by nature is a hero or
I'm just
anti-hero?
not sure. Are we talking about the television series or the movie? Just clarify for me.
I mean, are they both based around the same
Character,
origin?
but I'm trying to pin down the scene in my head.
Okay.
We'll add more for sure. I'm tired of it only being me shrugging. Tom Jane. I don't know what that means.
Thomas Jane, like in Deep Blue Sea,
Oh,
maybe.
Um,
I like shouting out that movie. I'll always do that.
Deep Blue Sea. First Punisher. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't, because the Punisher's an anti-hero by definition, because he's a rogue.
Okay.
And he says exactly for the Tom Jane.
Yeah.
are we talking just heist movies still?
No,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like we've really opened it up here.
Yeah.
What about Denzel and Man on Fire?
I've not seen Man on Fire, so
Oh,
That's where he's protecting the little girl, right?
yeah. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bad fucking dude in that movie, but he's... my favorite Denzel movie, John Q.
I don't know John Q.
His son has a heart attack while playing baseball, and so he holds a hospital hostage until they can get his son a new heart.
That's really interesting.
I mean, James Woods.
Man, that would be
Fuck.
a great. Is that a '90s or like early 2000s movie?
Yeah.
That's like that sounds like a great fucking movie for that era. I feel like it would never get made today, but I
No.
love that idea. I really like that concept.
Hold on, let me read off this cast.
LL Cool J for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ate my bird. Dude, Deep Blue Sea. So
Yes.
good.
So John Q is Denzel, Anne Heche, James Woods, Robert Duvall, Ray Liotta.
Real strong cast.
Yeah.
Bizarre Ray Liotta.
Eddie Griffin, shout the fuck out. Dave Thornton, Sean Hennessy,
Nice. Kevin Connolly, of course. E.
Ethan Suppi, Paul Johansen.
I don't know.
He's in like Gladiator and shit too.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm interested. I'm gonna watch John Q now. It sounds like a really cool movie.
it's one of my favorites.
Nice. Okay. Well,
What about Die Hard? Is that a heist movie?
is that a heist movie? Interesting.
Or does that grow outside of just into the action movie?
I think it grows. Yeah, it absolutely grows outside of that, and it's also not a Christmas movie. So suck it, everyone.
No,
says
it's
it is.
definitely. So is Harry Potter.
I'm not. even gonna
Jesus
say that.
Christ.
No, not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
But
Let's move on to our next topic. So, this is gonna be fun. Build your fucking cast. They are arguing with you that
Die Hard.
John Q is amazing. It's a Christmas movie. Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and then they're booing you. So let's build our cast. Now, do we want to go like we'll draft them, where like we each pick one and then we'll go down the board?
Nah, let's just because that'll take too long. Let's just read our lists and like do one at a time. I think.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go first because this was mine.
Jack, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So for tonight's show, Josh asked us to think about who our dream heist crew would be. And, we started thinking over the course of the day and put together a couple people that we would love to have in our crew if we were pulling off one boost, who they would be. So I don't know how you guys did yours. Mine, I got about, let's see, one,
Do you have
two,
characters or
4,
actors?
5.
Is
I
my
have
question.
7 people. So I have 7 people.
Okay.
And I have a mix of characters from movies and then just actors as they are.
Okay. Cool.
Because
I'm
I
into
just
it.
like the first people that came
Right.
into my head were so perfect. So here is my dream heist crew. I'll read them off down the list. So, and these are all based around the elements that you need to have in a heist crew, right? So I have a leader, I have a
Oh,
muscle.
wow,
I
you
have
went
a tech
that
guy.
fucking
yeah,
far.
Yeah.
I
So
love
I,
this.
I
Okay.
broke down the roles
All right,
that you
all
need to
right.
have in a heist crew.
Okay.
So the leader of my heist crew is young Michael Caine.
Oh, fuck
Oh
yes.
shit.
Absolutely. I mean, you look like if you watch Get Carter or The Italian Job or any of these old British crime movies, he's the fucking man of all time. So, just young Michael Caine in general is my the leader of my crew. Some of these are off the beaten path. My tech guy, my comms guy,
Yeah.
Rick Moranis from Honey I Shrunk
Fuck
the Kids.
yes. Fuck
Oh,
yes. Yes.
He created a shrink ray for God's sakes. Like he's the
I'm
ultimate
here.
tech
I'm
guy.
here for this.
He's got it. I mean, he's stuck in the 90s, but he's gonna be able to do anything. Safe cracking, you name it.
I'm stealing your fucking breakdown because this is genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm now reorganizing as well.
So that's the tech guy. Okay. The driver of the crew, obviously gonna be Ricky Bobby. What?
Check, check.
We lost all audio.
Ah, he's good.
Are we
no,
good?
now we're good. Now we're
Yeah,
good.
we're good.
Okay.
Keep it rolling.
Sorry, guys.
My weapons guy,
Uh-huh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that character was. I think that was like the highest kill count in a movie.
Go
up
back to
until that time.
Justin. Go back to Justin. All right. We must
Oh.
have been gone for a while. Okay.
Shit.
Stopped at Ricky Bobby.
Oh, fuck.
So
Wow,
that we've been
okay.
on mute for a minute.
All right, recap. Sorry about that, folks. So, my dream crew. Sorry, Zach, you have to go through all that all again, man.
No, it's okay.
All
I'll be
right.
better prepared.
Recap. My dream crew. We have the leader, young Michael Caine. Tech, Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Driver, Ricky Bobby. My stealth guy, and try to recreate your excitedness for this because the people didn't hear it the first time. My stealth person is Kevin Bacon as Hollow Man.
Still the best. Still the best.
He's invisible.
I'm just imagining that Kevin Bacon fucking him being him, you know?
He can
Just like got that cocky smile and he's like, hey, I can get into anything.
He is invisible. He
I
can
love
get
it.
into anywhere.
I love it.
My ass kicker / weapons expert is Mila Jovovich from any movie she's ever done ever, like Resident Evil. All I'm picturing her is like two fucking
Yeah,
machine guns in
absolutely.
her hands, just kicking ass all the time. Mila Jovovich. I threw in a smooth talker, someone who can get you through the door, who can get by security, anybody you need to talk your way past. Queen Latifah.
It's so good.
Solid.
Queen Latifah,
So
baby.
good.
I'm
Fucking
telling
great.
you, she got
So
that silky
good.
smooth voice, like, ooh, baby.
She'd
talk
call
about
you
Lucy Liu.
Shug.
Shug.
Be
Ah,
like, hey, Shug.
I love it. I'm telling you, she could get into anywhere she wanted. And then my general muscle, obviously, I have King Leonidas from 300, Gerard Butler, all of his 10-pack and everything.
Yeah.
For just any general
Yep.
muscle you need on the
Yep.
crew. So that is my crew.
I love
it. Sorry for the folks who didn't hear that the first time
Yeah.
on the chat, but
Hang on. The chat was going wild. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any comments other than, hey, you fuckers are on mute.
I saw Lucy Liu.
no, I think we're good.
Helen Keller. Whatever he's saying looks convincing.
Nice.
They're talking about you.
Yeah.
I see your lips moving, but I can't make out the words. Oh, shit. We were on for a while.
Yeah.
It's 1920. It's silent movies. Honestly, bet Zach took Lucy Liu for every role.
Definitely.
Almost. It's not too late.
I'm glad you guys are here because I drank a lot and I thought something was wrong with my audio. Now they're yelling at us. I did
Yeah, we're
see
back.
there is a heist movie where I take off with Brody and Rob Stinkies, says Anastasia. We would rent that from Xbox, but then also be super sad that you Rob Stinkies.
Yeah, I think we're good after that.
Okay, cool.
All right, so Zach's picking it back up where he left off because
Boom.
I don't think they got any of yours.
Yeah.
So that was my list, and Zach's going to do his next.
Yeah, and the list has been revised.
Love it.
Love
So,
it. Good.
New list.
Okay.
My leader
Mhm.
of my heist crew is Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Yes.
Or
Still,
Gandalf,
I'm still
or-
all about
or
it.
any-
Gandalf.
Yep.
Any Ian McKellen
Yeah.
figure in general.
I'll take that. My tech person, I originally had said Don Cheadle from Ocean's 11, but
Mhm.
that sounds cheap. So I'm taking Mara Rooney from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, Rooney Mara. Oh,
Rooney
shit.
Mara,
Yeah, she
yeah.
was crazy with the
Okay.
tech. Yeah, she was hacking into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Oh, crazy character, too.
Yeah. My driver is John Goodman and Big Lebowski.
Boom. Love that. He'll
Solid
always
man.
be old reliable.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Stealth, I went with Jack Black from The Pick of Destiny because he deactivated lasers with his dick.
Right.
And I mean, that's
I agree. 100%.
A for
But if
effort.
there's no lasers there, can he still deactivate stuff with his dick or like open doors or like Aloha Mora, like Harry Potter? Like what? I didn't see that. I don't think I saw Pick of Destiny. So
Jack Black has had an illustrious enough career that I'm sure his dick has opened a few doors.
for a lot of people, yeah, nice.
So, just throwing that out there.
Okay. Plus you got the comedic guy in there.
Yeah, you know.
Nice.
Weapons, I'm taking Schwarzenegger and Commando.
Yeah. What? What's so funny?
It's just, of course, how did we not take Schwarzenegger already?
Obviously.
That's the perfect weapons
Yeah.
expert.
Yeah.
I feel dumb for not having thought of that.
I mean, he kills the shit out of
Yeah.
everybody.
Everything.
I mean,
Everything.
How many DVDs are like just him with a massive
Yeah,
gun?
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's either him or fucking Sylvester Stallone.
yeah.
Is the other one you
Yeah.
could take.
My smooth talker, I'm taking McConaughey.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I mean,
shit, there goes.
He's
Y'all get me in, I'll let you ride in my Lincoln.
yeah, right.
That was my
Absolutely.
smooth talker for a minute. yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My muscle. I'm taking Tom Hardy as Bane.
You can't have Tom Hardy.
He's not taking Tom Hardy. He's taking Bane.
I don't care. He can't have Tom Hardy.
I think I might like Tom Hardy more than you.
I fucking doubt it.
I don't think
I
that's possible.
fucking doubt it.
We
That's not possible.
can hash this out after.
That's
this.
another.
Okay.
That's another show. Yeah.
All right.
And my comedic relief, I would take.
We had Jack Black.
Well, he was my stealth guy.
Yeah, he's
Oh, I thought he was both.
no, it's
No.
somebody to
He's
play
just-
with though.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get it.
A little bit of both. My comedic, I'm taking Joey Diaz.
Who's Joey Diaz?
You could suck my dick if you don't think this heist is gonna work, Justin Lutheran.
Whoa,
Yeah.
What?
I mean, so Joey Diaz is a comedian. He's a frequent guest on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yes,
But I mean, he's the fucking.
he's hilarious.
He's the yeah.
and if you
he's
can
the
get
goat.
him laughing in any scene, I would be crippled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
one of the best stand-ups I've ever seen live.
Yes.
And just I mean, because he's a gangster,
Yeah.
but he's not. Like
Yeah.
he fits so perfectly in a Heist Crew, where you'd be like, I'm not really expecting much from him, but like I'm fucking glad he's here.
He needs to be Dave Bautista in Guardians.
Oh, okay.
He just
I
comes
can picture that
in,
now.
makes his fucking one-liner, gets out.
Nice.
Yeah. I
Okay.
agree. All right,
Solid crew. All right, Josh. Who do you got?
here we go. I also have Tom Hardy, so fuck
You
you.
can't have Tom Hardy
No.
6 times.
I have Tom Hardy 7 times. I have Tom Hardy as my wild card. Pick a movie.
Wild card. I like
Pick-
that. Yeah.
Pick whatever.
Okay.
And I did a lot of pairing up in mine because I think on-screen chemistry is so big in heist movies. So the wild card is going to be pissing off the leader the entire time, which is obviously going to be Cillian Murphy because Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy are amazing together in Peaky Blinders. My muscle is Dave Bautista.
Nice.
Right. I mean,
Sure.
he looks great on camera. I wanted to go with The Rock, but I feel like The Rock could have been the leader.
Yeah.
And just
he's
having
too-
him
he's
as
too
the
big for
muscle.
just the muscle
Yeah,
anymore,
it wouldn't work. So Batista also has amazing one-liners. My computer guy is Alan Cummings, a.k.a.
Oh.
Boris from GoldenEye.
I am invincible.
I'm invincible. But he does the fucking pen thing, and
Yeah,
it's like he makes it work.
Love that.
My stealth guy and my smooth talker have to go together. Justin, try not to get excited.
I thought you were just gonna say me.
No.
Oh, okay.
My stealth guy is Jackie Chan, and my smooth talker
Oh,
is Chris
boy.
Tucker.
The
Jesus
duo.
Christ.
The greatest duo ever.
Wow. Oh my God.
Rush Hour.
What a crew that would
Right?
be.
Okay. My weapons expert is Shia LaBeouf.
What?
I like the idea of a Shia LaBeouf in Transformers, like, no, like very like kind of dumb character,
Yeah.
also being the weapons guy. Like, can you imagine him like trying to rig something and something blows up behind him and he's like, oh shit.
Okay. So
Okay.
You're like teenage Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Not like reformed.
Yeah, and he's
Shia
gonna
LaBeouf.
work a lot with the driver, obviously.
Okay.
Who's Megan Fox?
What? Megan
Yes.
Fox.
Megan Fox is the wheelman in Transformers.
Okay. Is she?
Yeah.
All right.
And then my comedy specialist and my hot chick, my comedy specialist is the Sandman.
Oh, Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Wow, you really went for the A-list.
I
this
just
crew.
don't care. Yeah, and
really
then
went all out.
my hot chick is ScarJo.
Oh, you threw in a hot chick too?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Wow, you really went for the top of the A-list on that.
Zach
crew.
gets Tom Hardy. Yes, you can, Justin. Make
That-
this template for social because I have some thoughts.
Your crew would cost.
Bumblebee
your
is the
movie would be
wheelman.
about $400 million budget for your crew alone.
She keeps
in
the
that
wheel
movie.
steady with those thumbs.
Jesus
those toe thumbs.
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
So yeah. All right.
So I mean, does your heist movie end with them all getting caught?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna
has to.
say
Yeah,
'cause
it has to.
this
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
This team is the worst robbers on
You're
the
like
history
Shia
of the
LaBeouf
planet.
will be my weapons guy, and I have no idea what the fuck he's
Yeah.
doing. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, those are some good crews though. I
Yeah.
love it. Very very
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
take.
Wow.
Deke's comment. Holy shit.
What?
The crew is stealing money from the studio. Justin, the perfect crime.
So meta.
So
Yeah.
Netflix made it. 3,000 Miles of Graceland, underrated. Okay, well that's where we're headed. So
Yeah.
we are going to talk overrated, underrated.
We always end with this segment. It's one of our
Yes.
favorites here. So we have a handful of movies, heist movies in particular.
Yep.
And we go around and we say overrated, underrated. Chat, feel free to jump in too. I know you guys have been patient and waiting for this the whole time, obviously.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
First one. This was actually, you know what? Hang on. Before I do this,
Oh, well, spoiler.
I know, right? Let me pull up Chad's list that he gave me of his top 10 heist movies because Chad,
Who is
aka
Chad?
Chad is. I'll call you right back. It's a very popular podcast that we love here. But I'll call you right back. They talk a lot about movies too, and Chad is very active with us on Twitter and social media, and was asking, about heist movies, or was chatting about it, and I asked him for his top 10 heist movies, and here they are. The second I can scroll down past the fucking Twitter thing to get
You saw
to
posts from
his
today?
list. Oh no,
Oh.
this is over like a week. I've been tweeting a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, can we do Baby Driver while we're looking, or you gonna find it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is off the top of his head when I asked him. He said The Inside Man, Point Break, Reservoir Dogs, The Town, Baby Driver, Logan Lucky, Snatch, Hell or High Water, Place Beyond the Pines, and Heat. Now, I watched just about all of these movies in the past week as good recommendations to work from. So, first one, Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, overrated, underrated is the question. I don't think that it's overrated. I think a lot of people saw it. It did well commercially, and a lot of people really liked it. It was nominated for a couple Oscars, and the style of Edgar Wright to match the music with the action was really well received. So it might be underrated just because, more people could have seen it. Well, so I think maybe slightly underrated.
All Edgar Wright movies are underrated. I think,
but this one, this did a lot of money though. Compared to all his other ones, this was over 100 million domestic. Yeah,
I just think Edgar Wright is a name that should be in that realm of top directors ever. He has a lot of the credentials of the Oscar nods. I don't think he's won, but he's definitely gotten the nominations. He, like we've talked about with Nolan and Tarantino and Kubrick, he's only done 7 movies.
Right.
So all those things to me are kind of he's check-marking boxes as being an underrated best director. This movie to me was underrated. But I was talking to Zach a little bit earlier about it, is that I wanted to be able to defend John Hamm after watching this movie, and he was so bad that our conversation from The Town, where you said John Hamm's not a leading man, and I fought you on it. You're absolutely right. He could not carry a fucking note in this movie.
I don't think the actors of Baby Driver, the story, I don't think is super great. I think a lot of it comes from the choreography of the driving scenes and the use of the music and some of the more technical stuff.
And Baby. I like Baby.
He's okay. I mean, Ansel Elgort is not a bad actor. Lily James, Kevin Spacey, John Bernthal, these are not bad actors. I don't think that they were served the best by the story. But I think the movie in general, I'd still say underrated.
Chad says, I think it's properly rated, and he completely agrees with you. What do you think of Baby Driver, Zach, man?
I did not see it.
Okay.
I will say underrated because I don't want to get too deep on this, but it is the last Spacey movie.
Correct.
One of them.
Yeah. But I have to mention something else about your comment that
you're responsible to let a baby drive a car. That's true.
Edgar Wright being considered one of the greats.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to take that back.
Why?
Because I'm looking at his filmography here.
Okay. Shaun of the Dead.
I'll give you Shaun of the Dead.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Baby Driver. Hot Fuzz.
World's End.
World's End.
Yeah, I fucking hate Scott Pilgrim.
Good thing you weren't on that show.
I mean, it would
blow to the chest.
It would have been Space Jam round 2, but
wow.
I mean,
you hate that movie?
I don't like it at all. But could you really? I mean, who are you comparing this to when you say the greats? Are you comparing this? Are you saying this guy should be up there next to Scorsese?
I think what you mean is he has his own very distinct style.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't get to that level.
Right. He's when you see a Tarantino movie, you're going to see a Tarantino movie. When you go to see a Scorsese movie, you're going to see a Scorsese movie. Whether or not Edgar Wright's your cup of tea is not the point here. It's that Edgar Wright has defined himself as a director that makes a certain type of movie that does critically well and box office well, like a Scorsese, like a Tarantino, like a Nolan.
Oh, he's not that big.
Not that big, but that's what I was saying. He's underrated as one of the better directors. He also writes what he directs,
He writes
which
a lot. He wrote on Ant-Man. Yeah, he's written
which
some
has
stuff.
that you have to write and direct for me to think that you're any good.
I mean, we're getting.
I'll
away from
reluctantly walk back my statement.
Okay.
I mean, it was Baby Driver, not the director. So
Right.
That's fair.
It's a symphony of filming, soundtrack, characters, and all. Before the show ends, I need Justin to unmask himself like Kane just saying. I need to put a face to those thoughts and opinions. Yep. I'll call you right back. Music and all. So, yeah, we'll go Baby Driver. Maybe a little bit underrated, mostly properly
That's fair.
rated.
That's good. Yep.
Okay. How about Bottle Rocket? I have not seen Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, and I don't think you have, Zach, right?
I have not.
So yeah, this is one of Wes Anderson's first movies. I think this actually was his first movie, Wes Anderson. So it's
I'll
got
look it
the
up.
usual cast. It's got Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson, and they wrote it with him just out of the University of Texas at Austin. I actually have it at my house, a black and white photo of them coming out of Columbia Studio when they got the news that this movie was greenlighted. It's one of my favorite souvenirs that I have. So it's a crime movie, and it's Wes Anderson
Sure
at
is.
his
It was
earliest
his first.
before Rushmore, and the Royal Tenenbaums,
man.
which I really loved. And this movie is, I think, because you guys haven't seen it, I'll say a little underrated. I mean, a lot of times when you have directors that are very well known, they didn't all become very well known right off the bat. It's usually a couple movies in that they gain traction, and so not everyone has always seen their first movies. So I think Wes Anderson is one where not as many people have seen. Yeah, that's the photo. Yep.
Wow.
Not as many people have seen. That's him and Owen Wilson. Yeah, they're
Holy
in
shit.
college at that time, coming out of
I'm pulling it up
the
here.
green light meeting at Columbia. So yeah, like not a lot of people go back and watch auteur filmmakers' first couple movies because they don't become mainstream until usually a little bit into it. So Bottle Rocket was his first movie, and it's very underrated.
Can you define couture or whatever that fucking fancy word is you
Auteur?
just used? Yeah, thank you. Because
Yeah.
you've used it back-to-back weeks, and I just want people to have a definition.
Auteur directors are artistic directors who are more stylistically focused than they are commercially focused. They're more experimental. They're
So
more
Edgar Wright.
creative. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
They are quality directors in terms of filmmaking and narrative and the concepts behind it and the structures that they use and the techniques that they use. So, Michael Bay is not an auteur director. He's the opposite of an auteur
Says
director.
you.
Yeah. Says me. Exactly. Yeah. So our auteurs essentially are the artists
Okay.
of this medium.
That cover looks like a Blink-182 album. 100% agree.
Yeah, it was like 97 or
Yeah.
something. It was way old. Yeah,
Bottle
so-
Rocket, way underrated.
Yeah, but definitely Wes Anderson, even though it's his first movie, like it still has a lot of what you love about him in it. It's
Yeah.
just not quite as refined. But
I'm not a Wes Anderson guy.
okay.
But
That's interesting.
Not that I'd like put my foot in the ground and say he sucks. I just don't care for his movies.
Oh wow.
That's interesting considering you like
Jesus.
Edgar Wright. Like I feel like they're not super far away from
Every
each other.
time I go into a Wes Anderson movie, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one where I'm like, fuck yes. And my favorite is like the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I think Anastasia's
Oh my
gonna
God.
divorce you now because she loves Wes Anderson. She says
This is why I've seen every Wes Anderson movie.
yeah. I
Um,
really like from a filmmaking standpoint, you're just not even like his technical proficiencies and the things that he does. They're so unique. and
Oh
so
my
I mean,
creative.
God.
I love the
are
look
you
of
are you
him.
saying oh my god in a good way or a bad way? Like what are you oh my
I'm-
goding him or me?
He's
I'm
mad.
disagreeing with Josh.
Okay.
Like,
I'll
I
put-
can't fucking believe
yeah,
this.
yeah, okay.
Put fucking Shaun of the Dead versus Grand Budapest Hotel every day of the week.
Are
Shaun
you
of the Dead
fucked?
versus Grand Budapest?
Are you fucked?
that's-
No, I mean they're both great movies, but
Yeah.
I mean to put Scott Pilgrim against like anything in fucking
Royal
Wes
You need
Tenenbaums.
to
Anderson's
go back
catalog.
and
Steve
watch the
Zissou.
Scott Pilgrim episode that we did
Life Aquatic.
because it was awesome.
I won't do it.
Okay.
I
Well,
won't do
Bottle
it.
Rocket is underrated. That's all I'm saying.
If I could add to this real quick,
Yeah.
even though I have not
yeah,
seen the
take
film,
your time, dude. We're good.
talking about his earlier works, if we're saying Bottle Rocket is underrated and recommending that people watch it,
Mhm.
I haven't seen this one, but I would highly recommend Rushmore.
I actually like Rushmore more than Bottle Rocket.
Rushmore
Yeah.
is in my top 10.
Rushmore is fantastic. Jason Schwartzman plays a teenage kid named Rushmore, and it's just about like his life in high school.
This
It's
is ringing a
fantastic.
bell somewhere in
Yeah.
the back of my brain.
It's the
Yeah.
writing is outstanding.
He's
Yeah.
like trying to sleep with his teacher, who's
Mhm.
also seeing Bill Murray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He-
I've seen bits and
He
pieces
puts
of that.
on a play that's like a very graphic
Yes.
depiction of Vietnam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do actually like Rushmore a little more than Bottle Rocket, but Bottle Rocket underrated.
A Heist of Fun. It's Derek. Royal Tenenbaums. Anastasia loves that movie.
Yep, classic.
Here's another movie she loves. Drive with the one and only handsome man Ryan Gosling.
Drive is so fucking awesome.
Drive is so fucking awesome. Ryan Gosling is so fucking awesome.
That jacket is awesome.
But is
Yeah,
it
it is.
under or overrated?
The movie Drive, I think, it's not overrated for sure. I think it's fairly rated. I will say though, what's interesting about Drive, and as much as I love the soundtrack and the performances and the movie itself, in that jacket that he wears with the big scorpion on
Yep.
the back, the director of Drive, Nicholas Winding Refn, really did not live up to the career standard that he set for himself with this movie. I mean, he did a bunch of movies that just nothing ever connected after this. He did Only God Forgives with Ryan Gosling. He did Neon Demon with Elle Fanning. I mean, he really, people thought he was going to be huge after this movie, and then he just kept making artsy things that did not connect with people.
Well,
So-
this is a remake
Drive is a remake?
Mhm.
Of what?
of the original Drive.
I didn't know there was an original.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I'll say the director is probably overrated because of this movie, and he never panned out afterwards. But this movie itself, it's probably fairly rated. I know a lot of people really like it.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I haven't
Maybe
seen
not.
this one,
Maybe
so
I'm
I
wrong.
can't really speak to it. But I think maybe part of the reason I would say it's
I'm
underrated
thinking of the driver. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
Mm.
all right.
is that I haven't seen it, and I feel like a lot of people who haven't seen it are
Don't
very well
sleeping on it?
aware of its like
Yeah.
stylization and
Mhm.
like I know this jacket. I know that there's a lot of like neon pink and shit in the movie, and I feel like I can hear the soundtrack in my head, but I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's very stylish all around.
Mrs. Gleason, the iconic jacket. And Sweet Chaz says, Darjeeling Limited, another great Anderson flick. Chad, thing is rated just right. Anastasia, it's based on the Incubus song, right? Absolutely. It's based on the
Yeah.
drive-through at McDonald's.
Exactly what happened.
The chat is
Yeah.
lit tonight. Man, I think I kind of align with Zach that it might be underrated because I don't think as many people have seen this movie as they should have.
Mm-hmm.
This should have been like you should be handed this DVD at the beginning of film school in a lot of ways. To me, that's
Yeah.
how good that movie
It's
is.
there's a lot that's very reserved about it. I mean, his
Right.
character is very reserved. His relationship with Carey Mulligan is very reserved.
Well, he doesn't talk for the first 20 minutes of the
Yeah,
movie
I
or
mean,
something
it's-
crazy
yeah,
like
it's-
that.
It's all action and
Yeah.
not action, but it's all the action that's happening in the
Right.
movie and music, the score and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drive's great, underrated.
This has become a parody.
Oh boy, the
It-
OG.
It's blown out of proportion to the point where like SNL makes jokes about it and whatnot. But the first Fast and Furious was amazing, and we all are the perfect age for it. Where all of our friends saw it in theaters, we saw it in theaters. I mean, Fast and the Furious, the original, might be underrated now because of what the franchise has become as a meme almost of what it was.
Sure. This one's tough for me to say because I didn't see the original, 2 or 3 movies in this series until the last like year or so. So I had seen like 5 through the end, and then I went back and watched the ones at the beginning. And I thought this movie was just going to be about street racing, and it actually turned out to be like the beginning of like all the crazy stunts and shit. Like it's obviously compounded since then, but I was surprised by that. Overrated or underrated? I guess underrated just because I think it's the essence of this franchise got lost a little bit. Like they took it to such higher levels at like what it was. I mean, it's still always retained that really character focused, family centric movie that also has crazy stunts and cool action sequences. Maybe that's not fair to say. Maybe it still has retained some of what it was originally. But the first movie, Fast and the Furious, I will say a little underrated. I think
Zach?
probably people have just probably forgotten about it.
I'm gonna go overrated.
Ooh.
The
okay.
movie or the franchise in general?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just not a fan.
Not even just like fun popcorn movie in the heart of summer, nothing. Like that's just the fight scenes that make no sense and like the defying gravity and stuff. Like none of it is just not into it.
It's just like, I mean, for me personally, it's just like everything in one movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I mean,
Oh,
they just get douchier and douchier
Sure.
and dumber and
Okay.
dumber. But
Sure.
that's just, you know,
Yeah, they get more and more something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the word douchier, but I know what you're saying where it's just
They
like
just
it's
get
it's just
bigger.
more and more.
Yeah, the
It's
cast
like,
gets bigger, the stars get bigger.
It's like more extra.
it's
Right.
yeah, it's
Every movie.
turned into the fucking Expendables.
Right. When
Yeah,
they
with
made this
cars.
movie, Vin Diesel was a relative nobody. Now he's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish he was nobody still.
Well, there you go. Chad said, honestly, it changed the game. Iconic. I agree. It did change the game.
Mm-hmm.
People attempted to replicate the success of the Fast and the Furious after this. Lived long enough to become the villain. Absolutely, Derek. Got worse as they got past the fifth. Saw it midnight showing at Destina.
Distinta.
Then saw a kid run over a concert parking barrier trying to peel out. Also, Wes Anderson movies are for kids who use the brown paper book covers in middle school instead of the new cool hip elastic ones with cool patterns. You definitely
Right here.
fucking did that.
feel
Right here,
attacked.
baby. My mom made them for me for like 10 years. It was great.
I'm so glad you're here, Chad. Says Derek. Rushmore felt like a movie the weird sub made us watch in junior high school. So
It's definitely an interesting.
so what
movie, high
Austin
school.
makes his kids watch now.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe my favorite TV movie of all time. Like, you can just jump into this movie wherever it is on TBS, and you're just like, all right, I'm done until this movie's over.
Yeah, agreed. And staying with the car heist movies,
Yes,
or car-based,
yes, yes.
crime movies. Gone in 60 Seconds, I think is I maybe just underrated because I feel like because it came out so long ago, a lot of the new generation probably hasn't watched it, and it's just so fucking great. It's just like Nicolas Cage in his prime, Angelina Jolie,
At the beginning.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a great cast of other people in this movie, and just such a cool contained world. It's like you have 12 hours, or you have 24
Yep.
hours to steal all these classic cars. If you're a car enthusiast, definitely gonna love it. It's got great action sequences. Yeah, I'd probably say a little underrated.
Yeah, I think I swallowed part of my mask. I got a fucking. I inhaled a thread. It's not COVID. I inhaled a thread. I'm gonna say underrated, and then just going. Oh Jesus Christ! I'm gonna double down that I think Nick Cage is the king of TV movies.
Yes.
Gone in 60 Seconds, Con Air, Face Off, National Treasure. More recently,
Sure.
I mean, he's
Well, I
the
mean,
king
in the
of
last
TBS.
like 10 years, he's just gone full on bizarre with all his stuff. He's like just doing the craziest things that he could possibly get his hands
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, in like the 90s.
If you were a vampire, you would too.
Yeah, this was 2000, and National Treasure was 2004, so that was kind of like the decline. But yeah, the villain in this movie, Dmitry Kalinin, who was they call him the carpenter. He's like the Scottish wood maker who likes to build caskets for all his victims. So yeah, definitely a little bit a little cheesy, but like perfect for 2000, the year 99, 2000 villain.
Chad also said this movie's underrated. That's the sound of an Eminem rap lyric. Was the carpenter making caskets? Wes Anderson is the reason we have Owen Wilson. Not incorrect. Carpenter with an accent making the casket. Anastasia Wow. Deeks 2000.
Yep.
Yeah, this movie I think probably underrated. Like, I think you both just nailed it. So
Yeah, super fun.
I'm cool with that. Over fucking rated.
No, you're.
Oh wow.
Michael Mann, okay, whatever. Robert De Niro, amazing. Al Pacino, awesome. This movie takes way too long, has way too many extra fucking characters that don't affect the plot, and at the end of the day, it's just like, eh. The whole time I'm watching this fucking 3-hour movie, I'm like, when are they gonna catch each other? And the only two redeemable fucking moments of this movie are the opening scene and the diner scene. The diner scene I thought was one of the coolest fucking things I've seen in the movie, where the bad guy and the good guy are face to face and they're like having just coffee. I loved it. It was incredible. However, this movie is a waste of time, and I don't think it's good at all. It's way overrated.
This came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, you were talking it up the whole first part of the show. You are. I don't even know what to say about this. This is maybe the best heist movie of all time.
No, it's not.
Because it's so layered, and because you get such an intricate look into all these characters. I mean, it's really a three-hander between Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer. But it's because it's not just action the whole way through.
Do you need something, Zach?
I'm stealing a little root here.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, you
Dr.
have
Pepper.
these great action sequences in it, but then you also have these fantastic dialogue scenes, whether it's between De Niro and his girl, or De Niro and Pacino, or whoever. I mean, it's such a well-rounded look into this big movie and these big characters. I mean, I don't know, I can't believe you didn't like Heat at all in terms of being a character-based movie. I mean, it's just, the characters and the dialogue are fantastic, and it has some of the best heist robbery scenes of all time. I don't know. I can't believe you didn't get
The
it.
chat is going wild.
These fucking comments right now are giving me life.
Okay. Oh, so Derek is saying, "Wow," like Owen Wilson. You're a psycho, says chat. You have to say, it was like a turtle. That's what they're talking about. Owen Wilson. Think of the time. It was 1995. It was iconic. Literally the whole show. All Josh did say was, "Wow, every heist movie ripped off Heat,
Seriously.
just shit on it."
That's the one right there.
The whole show, Justin.
Yeah.
Josh also said he hated the Inside Man. I didn't hate the Inside Man. I loved all of Inside Man and then hated the ending. This was the biggest plot twist in history. Heat was?
No, you saying that you didn't like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
After
You did say that every single heist movie stole from Heist. And
If
now you're like,
Thanos-
this is the worst waste of
If
time
Thanos
ever.
isn't in a movie, Josh hates it. It's better. Is it better than Clockwork Orange? Yes.
It's not worse, that's for sure.
I don't know. The teddy bear in the Toy Story 3 was wild. That's true. Larzo being a bad guy was wild. He doesn't get into the layers. Swallows shallow opinions. Whoa.
Yikes.
Haha. Heat was. Here's the deal. Zach, give your opinion.
I swallowed my mask. I'm dying. Let's hear it. Oh, my opinion on what? Heat?
Mm-hmm.
I saw half of it like a year ago. I'm going to say, well, Jesus Christ, did you think it was overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go overrated.
Fucking rights. Air 5. This is why Zach's on the show.
I didn't suck its dick the entire show, though.
That's
and then,
true.
So, you know.
Agreed. Yeah.
I see all the parallels and I see the good things that people borrowed from it. But just like we talked about Kubrick last week, right? Where he had all these amazing things and you saw all of them in Clockwork Orange, and then you see people reference it throughout the rest of film history. I'm not doubting that Heat was an iconic film that influenced a lot of people. I'm saying in 2020, it does not hold up. And at the end of the day, I just don't think it's that great of a movie. I'll never watch Heat again. Period.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, because of how long it is and because of certain things about it, it's maybe not the movie that you watch, every couple months, or when it's on TV, it's not an easy one to just leave on in 60 seconds, because it's such a deep movie that you really get into on so many different levels. So, I mean, yeah, it's not one that you're going to watch every couple months, but I mean, in terms of, that's interesting what you say about not holding up in 2020, though, because it was 1995 when this was made. It was a totally different time and a different style of filmmaking, and I would like to watch it today. I didn't watch it for the show because I know the movie very well, but I would like to watch it today just to see if that's true what you say. But I mean, still, just for what it was, and the actors that were in it, the quality all around. I mean, it's definitely not overrated.
I'll
Zach,
say-
you really are struggling. Are you okay, man?
I do
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I do want to point out, if you feel like rewatching Heat, or just go to the diner scene, watch the diner scene, focus on Al Pacino, and then go watch The Dark Knight. There are so many acting and character beats that Heath Ledger borrowed from Al Pacino in this movie. It's incredible. There's literally a moment where Al Pacino kind of like sits back and he makes like this thing with his mouth, and then he like darts his eyes around. I thought Heath Ledger was sitting in the booth. It was so like mirrored. It was incredible. So definitely worth watching.
Okay.
I will say that I think Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is overrated. I'll say it. Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's just goofy.
This
I-
is
I
getting
don't- I
wild.
This
don't
show
think
is
so.
getting out
I
of
don't-
hand.
I don't think
off
so.
the
I don't think
rails.
so.
We gotta barrel
So,
through the end. We're
it-
getting off
okay.
the rails.
It gives me, it makes my heart full that you're like, he kind of just stole Pacino's performance.
I mean, he borrowed heavily from it. That is for sure.
So does that make it less masterful
No.
to an extent?
I don't think so.
No, because I think then you're saying that there's parts of the town that are no longer good because they just ripped it off from Heat. Same with all of The Dark Knight.
No, I think what Heath Ledger
I
created
think
was
like
so
plot and
unique
performance are
original.
different though.
But Heath Ledger, he may have borrowed certain ticks or like little things, but he created so much of that character
Yeah.
himself, and it was so unique and original and
It was-
iconic.
It was
it's
just
too
that
much of
one
him.
beat is just like it's a mirror
Yeah.
image. Anastasia, the only thing I know is that Natalie Portman is like 14 in this movie. Are you sure you're not consuming or confusing this with the need for Speed Heat? Maybe you're hating on the wrong one. I think Josh is talking about the Miami Heat losing the NBA Finals.
Very
I'll
confused.
take the blame for that one, folks. I like you, Casey Jones, says Chad. I don't know about these other guys.
Me neither.
I'll have it on when you come home, Boo. Thank you. Anastasia, make him sleep outside. They're laughing. We're all Guy Ritchie fans? Question mark. He's gonna sleep in our tent watching Moonrise Kingdom.
Good.
Moonrise.
That's
Good.
that's a double
We're
layer
getting to
joke.
the Guy Ritchie. We're getting there.
I told you to watch Snatch. I didn't get to watch Snatch. I'm fully convinced Josh has created an on-camera character that has overtaken his thought process. What the hell is he saying? Man, Snatch is electric, says Derek. Justin is the only one I can relate to right now. Dumpster fire. That must have been.
Holding it down, trying to.
And no, Kingpin on sports comedies. Oh, yeah. Well, that wasn't mine. One of my favorites of all times, Lock, Stock, Rock and Roll, The Gentleman.
All Guy Ritchie. Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
We're gonna talk about him.
yeah, these guys don't know what's right. Rock and Roll is so underrated. Josh reading comments. Everyone types something. Make him read 12
Yeah,
comments.
knock-
Hi, Josh.
They're gonna keep you going.
Faces.
Quick, get off the comments.
Faces.
Go to the next
All
one,
right,
quick.
next one. I did like this movie. Inside Man, Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, Jodie Foster.
Underrated. Spike Lee directed this movie.
Spike
for God's
fucking
sake.
Lee.
Yeah.
did?
Underrated.
Yes,
yeah.
he
Wow.
Underrated.
Yeah.
I didn't see this till about like 8 months ago, and it's just fucking the way I love how it ties together at the end. I unlike you, I like Inside Man a lot.
Explain the ending to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
So, spoiler alert for any of you who didn't see Inside
It's at
Man.
the beginning of the show.
I'm gonna spoil it for you right now. Yeah, oh, that's right. So, Clive Owen is pulling off a bank heist, and what he ends up doing is like he walks in the front door, and then he builds a little room in the back where the safe is. He builds like he builds the wall like coming out a couple feet, so it looks like the room is complete, but there's actually a space between the wall he builds and the real wall, and he like camps in that space for like 2 weeks or something after the heist. Is it a week? After the heist has been completed, he's living in the space between the wall they created, the fake wall, and the real wall of the room where the safe is. And then after a week, he comes out, and this is all after the robbery has been completed, and the cops think that they've chased down the bad guy and everything. So like that part of the movie is done, and he's still living in the space between the walls. So after a week, he just walks out the front door of the bank because he breaks through the wall and just walks out the front door, and no one suspects him of anything because they've already completed, catching the bad guys and everything. So what part of that were you confused about?
I love that part. And he bumps into him, and he drops the diamond in his pocket.
Yeah.
Awesome. And he tells him to chase the ring. And then there's another 15 minutes of the movie that are hot fucking garbage. where Denzel goes into the mayor and shows him the ring with the middle finger, and then we find out that Denzel makes Detective 1. We have this very bizarre conversation with Jodie Foster and the rich guy where she's like calling him, Hitler's neighbor, and like it just was like totally unnecessary extra fucking shit. If it would have ended with them bumping shoulders and then you cut to the last scene where Denzel's in the bedroom with his girlfriend and he pulls the thing and he like flashes it back, awesome fucking ending. But there's like 10 to 15 minutes of garbage at the end of this movie that is them trying to explain shit and it never goes anywhere.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember that, so it clearly must not be important at all. And I just saw the movie like this year, so yeah, all I remember is Clive Owen walking out like he said he was gonna just walk right out the lobby, and that was the end. So,
like I said, like if you literally watched my Twitter timeline of me live tweeting this, I'm like blowing this movie up like this is the greatest fucking movie I've ever seen, and then the ending had 10 minutes of bullshit attached to it that just confused me. And as someone who also can't write good endings, I was just bummed out by it.
There are certain movies like that. I mean, Last Black Man in San Francisco was like that. Ford versus Ferrari, I thought was like that.
Oh, that has a shitty ending?
Just where it has that extra 10 or 15 minutes that I don't think really needed. But so, okay. Well, what are you saying? Overrated or underrated for this?
Finely rated.
Okay.
Maybe a little overrated because everybody, like, puts it on this fucking pedestal, but it's not a complete movie to me.
Okay. Zach?
Underrated.
Okay, why?
I think it's ranked highly in the list of heist movies, but I think in general, overall terms, I don't know. Like, if you're not a fan of this particular genre, I'm not sure that you saw this movie.
Sure.
And I think it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Denzel, holy fucking shit. I mean,
the whole cast, though. I mean, Clive Owen is an actor that I think a lot of people forget about.
I think Clive Owen's wildly underrated.
Absolutely.
Mid-'80s on Rotten Tomatoes, scored well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jodie Foster, like you said. I mean, it's a phenomenal cast and Spike Lee directing. So, yeah, I'd say a little underrated.
Okay.
Cool.
The next movie I just watched last night. This is the most underrated movie on the history of the fucking planet.
I don't know about that one.
This movie is awesome.
It's good.
Awesome fucking character acting from everybody involved. The plot is just dumb and fun enough that it keeps you going the whole way through it. But like the characters drive this movie, and it's so fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big Adam Driver guy. I'm a big Channing Tatum guy. I would push them to the moon if I was a Hollywood executive. Channing Tatum pretty much has been, and Adam Driver might as well have been. But these two just carry this fucking movie. The accents are goofy. Like, the whole story is very heartwarming and fun and goofy. I loved this movie.
It's fine. I mean, in terms of Soderbergh's movies, it's like middle of the road for me. I wasn't a huge fan of like Daniel Craig's craziness. Like, I definitely applaud him for going there with that character with the goofy accent and the hair and like really trying to create something different from Bond.
Do you want water?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
But yes, but in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. Like, Channing Tatum as an actor is whatever. Like, he's definitely not that great to build a movie around.
You're ridiculous.
No. This movie was okay at best.
Channing Tatum with a badass sidekick is a great movie. 21 Jump Street, Logan Lucky, Magic Mike.
But this wasn't a comedy, though. This was more of a drama than anything. He's got the whole thing with his daughter, and so this wasn't a straight-up comedy. This was more, it had comedic, like, humorous moments to it, like Adam Driver with the whole prosthetic arm and things like that.
Oh, my God, it's so funny.
No,
he loses it. When his arm gets sucked off when they're stealing the money, I peed my pants. Like, I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so fucking hard.
Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people didn't see it. It didn't do a lot of business, but people liked it.
Zach?
So, solidly rated, or?
For me, I'll say, okay rated. It's fine.
I'm gonna say overrated.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, I had to cut this mask out of a fucking snow hat. We have some fringes here. I just inhaled a piece of my mask.
Nice.
There's no COVID.
No cocoa.
I saw Chad's concern, and I want him to know that everybody is safe.
No cocoa. Well, yeah, Justin hasn't taken his mask off at all tonight, so you're good to go.
He
Ain't
might be the smartest one in the room. I
yeah,
don't know.
I'm 6 feet from you.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
So yeah, no, I hated the accents. I didn't like Daniel Craig's character at all, and just like Justin said, like it's not really a comedy. It's more of like a drama.
Wow.
But like, I don't think it does either particularly well.
Wow. Okay.
That's fair.
I
Man.
went into this like, oh, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, this is gonna be great, and then I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Wow.
Like, it's
okay.
not. It wasn't what I expected it to be, and then once I was watching it, it wasn't anything that I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, that's a really I like that point. That's a poignant point that I think we can make with a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you go in wanting something and it doesn't deliver. Like Pacific Rim is always I wanted to see aliens fight robots, and guess what? I fucking got it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really interesting because this movie, I have my famous working 100 greatest movies list that I'm constantly tinkering with.
Yeah.
This movie has entered that like consideration to join that list and is a consideration to be a DVD purchase.
Yeesh.
Oh shit.
So
But Heat is the worst movie of all time.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Get me out of this room. I don't know what I'm doing in here anymore.
Derek
This is
says,
crazy.
I get Jodie Foster and Jane Fonda
Yeah.
confused. Understandable.
That's fair.
Would you say Logan Lucky is forgettable? Because I don't remember.
100%.
Like, I don't remember that movie at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the trailer. I don't remember the movie.
I only remember
It was a great
the parts
trailer.
I disliked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Underrated. I feel like a lot of people didn't see it. He's talking about Logan Lucky. Under the radar. It's probably a good way to describe it too. Adam Driver's accent bothers me. Chad agrees. Daniel Craig was a good character. See, I love Daniel Craig in this movie.
I respect him trying.
Yeah. If we could just skip some of these bottom comments.
Okay, just
Yeah.
all the Coco comments.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. It has
JK.
slits in it. Justin has a mascot at least. It has slits in it. That's pretty funny. The kid didn't like Heath Ledger's performance in Dark Knight either. Justin, amen. I had a good one. Damn it. Thank you. Okay. Next movie.
What is next? Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Definitely fairly rated. Just given the cast, this is good Soderbergh here. So yeah, this is fairly rated. I mean,
They're
it's-
both Soderbergh.
Yeah, this Logan Lucky. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, and Soderbergh, correct me if I'm wrong, was also the Chicago 6 or 9 or whatever the fuck, right?
What?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
All right,
The new Netflix movie?
Yeah.
With it's not Sacha Baron Cohen,
Yep.
is it?
No,
Oh,
you're
the
right.
Chicago 7?
Yeah.
No, that was Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Soderbergh. He did the Nick, that TV show with Clive Owen. If you saw that, he did a couple Netflix movies recently. The Laundromat, all the Ocean's 11's movies, and Logan Lucky. Yeah, Aaron Brockovich. I mean,
He gets a pass. Aaron Brockovich is
Traffic, which is a great movie. Not
Bill
it's
and
like-
Ted Face the Music? Oh, executive producer.
Yeah, you're just producer. IMDb does producer credits first, so you have to click on director. But anyway, yeah. So Ocean's 11, while we have that one pulled up, I will say is fairly rated. Absolutely.
Yeah. I would have agreed with you until, I got a lot of hate on Twitter that it sucks or that it's forgettable. It's just meh.
From who?
From Chad, from a bunch of other people that I was like having Twitter conversations with, that Ocean's 11 is just meh was a comment that I got a lot.
Start blocking motherfuckers.
I mean, to me, this is a great fucking movie.
Just for the cast alone, I think you can't. It's hard to turn away from like the magnetism of this movie just based on who's in it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Ocean's 11 is Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Matt Damon. Fuck.
I mean, this is the A-list of all A-list.
And in their primes. Everybody's at the height of their powers here.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking awesome.
Right, which is why it's such a driving factor. Because nowadays there aren't really movie stars driving movies anymore. But this was when that was still how they worked.
Right.
And then you had all of you had a Julia Roberts movie.
You were just missing Leo.
You had a Brad Pitt movie.
That's about it.
He was too young in this one because this was I think 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
So, fairly rated.
Okay. Rated just right. Good movie. Borat 2. I don't know.
Too.
No. I said not top 10. Get that right. Oh, I'm sorry, Chad. Imagine being taken out of context. That else says. He's dizzy, Derek. I'm gonna need them to wipe down the studio. There's something in the air.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Chad, but there were people who did give me that Ocean's 11 was met. Did you give your Ocean's 11 rating?
I did not.
Okay.
And it's hard for me to say. I feel like weird saying it's solidly rated, but like just because it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I guess that's like a solid rating. As
Right.
long as
Well, yeah,
everyone's
I
in
think that's how
agreement
most
that it's
people think
fucking
about
great,
it,
you know, then yeah.
It's a great fucking movie.
Okay, fairly rated, we'll say.
Okay. Thanks, Derek.
Okay.
I have not seen
My
Point
new
Break.
favorite fucking movie.
I have not seen it, and I'm never gonna watch it. I will
Zach
just never
and I
watch
both watched
it.
this today.
Let's talk.
It's
Let's
so
talk.
great.
I'm never gonna watch Point Break.
Hang on.
I can't even.
Go ahead. You talk first because I've been talking over you all show.
No, so just Josh gave me some homework to watch Point Break, and I was like, okay, I'm not looking forward to it. In the same regard with Jodie Foster and whoever Derek said he confuses her with, I get Swayze and Val Kilmer confused sometimes, and I was like,
Yeah, sure.
like whatever, like Keanu Reeves, and like I just thought it was a surfer movie, so I was like honestly like kind of fucking confused while we were watching it. Holy shit, it is so much more.
Is that Brokeback Mountain?
And I mean, some of the surfer lingo thrown in there is like a little cheesy, but to be expected from
I think
like
it's meant
most
to be
movies
cheesy
from
though.
the 90s.
They're
yeah.
like making fun of it. Yeah.
But this movie is so fucking good.
Oh, it's so great.
It's so good.
I'll never be able to watch it.
Okay.
I mean, and can we just, Patrick Swayze,
Oh.
he is a handsome motherfucker in
It's
this
just
movie.
he's great, and he doesn't wear a shirt the entire
No,
time. It's
I'm not
awesome.
mad. I'm
Yeah.
not mad.
Yeah, and I do love that Catherine Bigelow directed this movie, who did
Yes.
The Hurt Locker and
Yes.
Zero Dark 30. I mean, I love her as a
Really?
director.
Yep.
I love her as a director.
Yep.
But I don't think I could bring myself to watch. It just looks so
I want everybody to go
What can
through.
I say to
Terrible.
sway you?
nothing.
Here's my.
I can't. I know I've seen it, like it's been on the periphery forever, but I just can't bring myself.
Let
it
it
looks
in.
so cheesy bad.
Let it
that I-
in.
Here's
It's
my
not,
str-
though. It's
Here's my
not.
stream of consciousness while watching this movie. Started Point Break. By God, it's beautiful. Patrick Swayze throws a dog at Keanu Reeves. And now they're skydiving. Bro, heat is garbage compared to Point Break. Bro, what? Swayze, how can you do that to your bro Keanu? This movie's electric. Wait, what present does Keanu get to be? Spoiler alert. Keanu jumped from a fucking plane with nothing but a gun. This fucking movie.
Wild. Can we talk about that? Fucking wild.
Yeah.
There's like
I've never seen anything like that.
There's like every great surf scene ever. And then they're like, okay, well, here's like a half decent, cool car chase in it. And then they're in a plane and they're skydiving. And you're like, how did we get here? And then he throws him in the back of a van, shows him a video of his fucking girlfriend being kidnapped. And you're like, we're off. Now he's got Keanu with a gun, robbing a bank with him. Oh my God. It's just fucking great. Point Break is now definitely not only in my top 100, it's in my top 10 and will be being
Oh
purchased
my
on
God.
DVD.
Oh my god.
Can we talk about Chad's comment real quick
Oh
about
my God, go for it.
Laura Petty is the love interest in this movie?
Yes.
I was like, is that old girl from Orange is the New Black?
Yes, it is.
And then I was like, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
And then I also thought, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
was unkind.
Yeah.
Was not kind to this
No,
woman.
no.
But
Oh my
I
God.
didn't hate
Maybe
it.
I'll watch it because that scene of Keanu jumping out of a plane with just a gun actually sounds kind of awesome.
It's fucking iconic.
Like,
He just says, fuck it.
maybe I'll just YouTube the
jumps.
scene. But that does
No,
sound
no, no, no,
good.
no, no.
That
You
does
need
sound-
context.
Dude, I can't watch this movie about fucking surfers who are the
No.
bank robbers. Like,
It's
it
about
doesn't
so
make any
much
sense.
more.
It's
No.
It's not even. Oh.
You know what bone it tickled for me was like Rush Hour. It's kind of like Rush Hour
With surfing.
with surfing.
Chris
Not
Tucker on
even. Not
surfboard.
even a lot of surfing.
No,
I will say, for
Yeah.
me thinking it was a surfing movie,
no.
Less
Oh,
surfing than I
and Gary
expected.
Busey jumps in a pool like
Oh.
a fucking crazy person.
Gary Busey's in it.
Oh, it's awesome.
Meatball Sammy's.
Yeah. Oh,
Give me
yeah.
two.
Give me two.
Give me two.
Utah, get me two. I'm in
Johnny Utah. What an iconic fucking character name.
Yeah, right.
Johnny
One of the
Utah.
top 10
Johnny Utah.
character names
Oh.
ever. Is this Brokeback Mountain? Yep. The only thing I know about Point Break comes from Hot Fuzz. Yes, where he rolls over, he shoots his gun into the air. That's awesome.
Johnny-
It's also 1991.
Johnny
That
Tsunami
hair
with guns.
has flow. That's man, fucking Patrick Swayze's hair is incredible. Johnny Tsunami with guns, absolutely. The original John B, absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
Back off, War Child. Seriously.
Is it rated R? Is there a lot of like swearing in it? Is it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
This is like a PG-13 movie, maybe.
It might be R.
Lori Petty, great supporting actor. Yeah. She's also great in Free Willy. She is in Free Willy.
Oh boy.
Also in A League of Their Own. And please don't do it this to me. League is so underrated. It is R-rated for surfing.
Is Chad the one that recommended
Rated S for
Yeah.
surfing.
Chad?
Yeah.
Chad. So
Wow, man.
I owe you.
And I
Dude,
get
Point
you.
Break's
I owe
awesome.
you
That's funny.
something for
So
bringing
good.
this into
Rated
my
S
life.
for
I
surfing.
also though thought
It's rocket power with guns.
Look at you.
It's rated S for surfing. That's great. Oh man.
I also though thought Point Break and Vanishing Point were the same thing, and I kept waiting for the car. Never a fucking car. So, all right, let's talk about my favorite movie from my favorite director, Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Overrated, underrated.
I'd say fairly rated because Tarantino is one of those few, just like the next director we're going to talk about, whose first couple movies are very well known.
Yeah.
He's not like a Wes Anderson where, Bottle Rocket and Rushmore, like people kind of know, but like Tarantino, Pulp and Reservoir Dogs.
Right.
If you
He
don't know
kicked the
anything
door
else.
in, and
Yeah,
then he
yeah.
laid an egg with Jackie Brown, and then did some weird shit with Kill Bill, and then is having a renaissance.
Yeah, so I'd say Reservoir Dogs is fairly rated for sure. Even though it's not I don't know if I'd put it in my top 3 Tarantino movies, but yeah, it's for what everyone loves about it. Yeah, it's fairly rated.
I'm gonna say underrated,
Okay.
just because I think, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that maybe people had like a similar introduction to Tarantino that I did, where I saw like Pulp Fiction on AMC,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, oh shit. But it was at a time where like I was culturally familiar with like Kill Bill
Uh-huh.
and I guess Kill Bill.
Yeah.
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 And
I
then
mean, that is his commercially was his biggest movie.
Yeah, and then I think around that time is when like Inglourious Bastards came out.
Sure.
And I was like, okay. And then later, like I was like, oh, I thought Pulp Fiction was just his first film because it was the one that was
Right.
like most known. And I mean, I think Reservoir Dogs is probably not as well known as Pulp Fiction, more known than Jackie Brown, I'd say. But going into it just like kind of blind, I was like, oh wow, this is, while it's similar to Pulp Fiction in regards, like,
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
No.
I'm laughing that it says Reservoir Logs. Like the D is cut off.
Yeah, it's kind
Reservoir Logs.
That's a
my
different
favorite.
movie.
That's a totally different movie.
I mean,
where's Mr. Brown at?
it's. Well, he's actually
Oh
over
my
here.
God.
Mr. Brown is right there. That is a character in the movie. It's the DVD cover. Because I hate the movie poster.
Where's Mr.
There.
Brown?
There you
That's
go.
Great.
Ironically, if we like broke it over 2 screens, we could get it to say Reservoir Clogs,
There you go. Even better.
the sequel to Reservoir Logs.
So, Reservoir Dogs is my favorite movie from Tarantino, so I don't know. It's properly rated for me. But the chat was pretty funny. I want to go back and read it here.
I think
Yeah, the chat is fucking lit.
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, read that S as an R. Yeah, well, I'm dyslexic, I guess. That's your issue. I don't claim him. Sleeping on the porch tonight. Reservoir Logs. I wish I could post a picture of our porch. Yeah, it's very small. I think it's rated well. Probably the 6th best QT movie. I don't hate that. It's my favorite because it was the first one I saw. And it was introduced to me at the perfect time. Like, I saw Boondock Saints, and then someone's like, oh, you should see Reservoir Dogs. And I was like, what's that? So Anastasia, to elaborate to which color I would be, through most of high school, my social media handles were Pink Elsass because obviously Steve Buscemi is the best in this fucking movie. Pulp Fiction equals overrated. Huh.
Most overrated Pulp Fiction movie.
Pulp Fiction equals most overrated Pulp Fiction movie. Oh, you're saying like of the genre.
I don't know what that means.
Are you? I was gonna say, are you
I don't
asking?
know. I'm asking. Okay, Mr. Pink. The Reservoir Logs just hit me. Josh is Mr. Pink, but it's pronounced Sphinx.
Reservoir Logs. Just floating down the reservoir.
Wait, should it say dogs? Yep. Okay. Giant Reservoir Logs.
Yeah, I'd like to watch
A whole different movie. We built a dam. Reservoir Logs. We built a dam. It's a movie about wood. I like this.
In many ways. I think it
Big
would
powerhouse movie.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs is the Prester's version. Most overrated QT movie. I thought it would be meta as fuck. I'm headed off tonight, boys. Great show. Thanks, Chad. In which case I can agree in its own genre. My man, we'll talk soon, Justin. What's a QT movie? Quentin Tarantino. Love you, Deke. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Snatch.
You guys have not seen Snatch, I don't think.
No,
Right?
I'm not.
Just
Snatch is Guy Ritchie's second movie after Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And they are both he's also like Wes Anderson and like QT, where his first two movies are, known by a lot of people, even though there's kind of a lull in the middle of his career with like Rock and Rolla and Velvet or whatever the hell that one he did with Madonna was. Snatch is great. I think Lock, Stock's probably a little better, but Snatch is a really fun character movie. I mean, if you guys know Guy Ritchie's movies at all, they're usually like London Underground, really colorful characters, really fast writing.
You
like
love
really,
Guy Ritchie.
really witty. He's such a great British crime guy. Like he just like captures the essence of like seedy underground London, but also with really fun characters like Vinnie Jones and Jason Statham and Tom Hardy. Like all these guys early in their career were in Guy Ritchie's movies. So yeah, I really do fucking love Guy Ritchie, and Snatch is definitely one of his more like Brad Pitt's character in this is super fun, and you can't understand a goddamn word that he says, and a lot of people like that. So Snatch is, I'll say, underrated just for people who haven't seen it. Like obviously you guys haven't, and because it was so early in Guy's career, maybe not a lot of people now have seen it. But yeah, Snatch and Lock, Stock are both, I think, slightly underrated movies. And if you like Guy Ritchie at all, not like Aladdin Guy Ritchie, but like actual The Gentleman Guy Ritchie or like actual crime Guy Ritchie,
Yeah.
recommend.
Cool.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
There you go.
Very good.
This is another movie that had a huge influence on me in a pivotal time. The Italian Job, I think, is the reason why I love cutting montages and why I need real music in montages. Because the entire scene where they're doing the robbery to Money from Pink Floyd, it's a cover of Pink Floyd's Money. It's just, like, it's so drilled in my brain. It's one of those scenes that, like, I always refer back to. I'm like, all right, this thing I made, is it cool? Sure. Is it as cool as the opening to Italian Job? No.
I always forget how much I do like The Italian Job. Like it's in my DVD stack, and every time I look over it, I'm like, I always forget how much I like it.
Yeah.
So I will say underrated for that reason, because it is a really fun movie. Like there's nothing about it that's super memorable. Like the cast is pretty solid with Ed Norton and Wahlberg and Charlize and all that, and like the plot of the movie's average. Like it's fine, but it's definitely a fun one.
Well, and some great action sequences with the little Mini Coupes, which
Yeah.
is borrowed from the original, but like the Mini Cooper going underneath the truck and shit is
Yeah.
just really fucking cool.
I will say the remake I do enjoy more than the original Italian Job, just because that one's plot was much more complex and more convoluted. Although
Sure.
the Mini Cooper chase from the British one was fucking unbelievable
Yeah.
back in the day in the 70s. That one was insane.
Well, and practical.
Mhm.
Both were practical, but
Right.
still, yeah.
Yep.
Super cool. Did you see Italian Job?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Good popcorn movie. It's a good fun
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's not Fast and the Furious or Gone in 60 Seconds, but it's worth a watch. The Usual Suspects. I've not seen this movie.
Yeah, this one you gotta watch for sure because it's just such a all the characters in it are just awesome. The writing is outstanding, and it's just got such an awesome reveal at the end. That's one of the most iconic in cinema history. I mean, it's the scene alone, in the lineup is very well known. It's just there's a lot of things about this one that are classic, and I'll say fairly rated because I think a lot of people see it as that way.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said anything that I could say about it. I would say it's fairly rated because it's those who know it's held in the level of regard that it deserves.
So this is really interesting. So Bryan Singer directed this.
Right, Bryan Singer, who now, he's gone through all the sexual harassment stuff and has kind of dropped out of the picture with Hollywood because it's because his career is interesting as far as his
like
filmography.
Superman Returns.
Because he was really heavy into the X-Men movies. The first one and X2, and then I think Brett Ratner did the third one, but then he came back, for Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. So he did a lot of the new X-Men movies, but then he has The Usual Suspects at the beginning of his career,
right?
And then he has Valkyrie in the middle with Tom Cruise, and he was working on Bohemian Rhapsody before all these, a lot of issues came up, and Dexter Fletcher had to finish directing that. But The Usual Suspects for
is
being
that why Bohemian Rhapsody feels like two fucking movies?
They had two directors essentially.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, he just kind of melted down on set, and they had to bring someone else in to finish it.
Oh wow.
And then Dexter Fletcher directed Rocket Man. I'm getting my movies confused, but anyway, yes, he did drop off Bohemian Rhapsody in the middle of filming.
All right.
So Usual Suspects, fairly rated.
One of the funniest things that I should have been taken had been an outtake that was used in cinema. The whole lineup. Oh, Del Toro was farting the whole time. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. The final one, overrated, underrated. And I wanted to see this one last because we did an entire movie review about it, and we all loved it. I think universally we loved the movie. I now appreciate this movie even more having had just watched an entire week of heist movies. The Town is even better now than when I watched it. To me. So, underrated.
I think I don't know if we did the actual movie overrated, underrated when we did the show about the film. I think we did the actors in it, but I will say underrated because people definitely love it, but I also think that it did not quite, like it could have gotten a little more love. I think this is like, best picture material.
I agree.
I mean, it's fantastic all the way around.
Yeah, I agree. Underrated. I think it's a underrated movie overall. I think Affleck's performance in it might be underrated, and I think it's definitely an underrated Jeremy Renner
for sure.
performance.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But nothing like that song. Jeremy Renner's music video song.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, Jeremy Renner.
Didn't he have like an app too or some shit?
Jeremy Renner song. The main attraction.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. No. It's about to get great for you. As soon as this Ford commercial ends.
Are we going to get pulled for playing this?
No, I'm not going to play the music. I'm just going to play the video.
Okay.
So we're good. Yeah, so Jeremy Renner.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And
This is only a year ago.
What do you think this sounds like?
Shit.
It sounds like Imagine Dragons.
Oh, fucking A.
But, like, wait, just, like, watching him sing is, like, the most unnatural.
Oh, my God.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll play the
Ew.
music
Ew.
after the show, but
Ew.
it is cringy.
And it's
for
old
sure.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Like, it's now Jerry. This is the last year.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
That was
Yeah.
fucking gross.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
right. All right. So yeah, heist movies. We plucked that apart for 2.5 hours.
Goddamn right we did.
Yeah.
There you go.
So much fun. They're fun to watch.
they're
They're
the
fun
best.
to talk about. I love heist movies, and I hope that they stick around.
I think we need to make the heist movie where the good guy steals something. That's our thoughts from the movies needs to make that heist movie.
Fuck, let's do it.
Start writing it.
All right, I'll work on it. Thank you all for watching. Please go listen to I'll Call You Right Back. They're available on everything. Also, if you didn't see all of our stuff, or if there's old episodes you want to go back and watch Thoughts from the Movies, they're all available on YouTube and Facebook. But so is the podcast. Is available on Spotify and iTunes under Thoughts from the Movies. Thank you, Sweet Chaz, for the 500 bits. Half of that actually goes to Movember, which I think, Sweet Chaz, you're probably pretty familiar. We should donate at least $800 to Movember just off of the shows, which is awesome and could not be done without everybody. And we're going to do a telethon-esque on the final day of November to push this thing over the edge. So be ready for that, boys. Other than that, any final thoughts here?
No, man, just a great topic this week. It was so much fun. I really think that you're confused about Heat, but we'll leave that for another time. It's the best movie ever. Every movie copies it. This movie sucks.
It was kind of a wild.
Hey man, I stand by. I just wasn't into Heat.
It's all right. Art is art, baby.
Yeah.
My final thoughts are I swear to God I don't have COVID. I fucking apologize. to
I hope
anybody.
so.
Lucy, I don't have COVID.
Yeah, Lucy,
I sure
Can
hope
I
so.
come over for Thanksgiving?
If you listen to this or rewatch it, fucking forgive me that I was coughing.
If
but-
I'm never on a show again, then you know what happened to me.
There you go.
This was it. This was the one that did
The
it.
Coco.
It's called job security.
Yeah. All right. If you are looking for Two Beers Deep tomorrow, wait till Friday. We're doing it on Friday. Make sure you check that out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you. The chat was awesome tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you guys next week on whatever topic we fucking decide to come up with because we can't game plan more than a week in advance.
See you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
See ya. Happy Thanksgiving.